Born and raised right here in Kansas City's Strawberry Hill, Dink has developed a unique art style which he proudly states is a playful reminder of death. After attending art school in Kansas City, this artist decided to leave KC to live in New York City and in Denver, Colorado. Dink says those experiences helped shape his style and improve aspects of his art. He moved back to Kansas City in 2020 and has quickly reinserted himself as one of Kansas City's standout artists. We sit with Dink to discuss his story, his art, his unique style, and so much more. This is Enterrupt KC. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to Enterrupt KC, the podcast dedicated to people, places, and things right here in Kansas City. I'm your man D-Rod. This is JL, and we got Nick.
What up, man? What's going down?
Nick? Oh, nothing, man. Nothing.
What's up, Nick?
What's up, Nick, man? What's
Yo,
up, JL?
Man, you know what, D-Rod, man? We sitting here getting ready to touch on the holidays and everything, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
It's you know, it's kind of crazy, right? Like somebody asked us the other day, I think it was Menace, he was like, man, how long y'all been doing this? And it was crazy to think about, you know, a year ago, right? Like just, you know, kind of fast forward now, here we are a year later.
Yeah.
How much has grown, you know, the content, you know, just the guest list, you know.
The guests, man. It's been phenomenal.
It's been crazy. I mean, you can look at the backdrop. It just gets more and more scribbles on it, you know.
It's getting full.
It's getting full, man. But, man, I just want to take a moment, D-Rod, and just encourage everybody, man. Like, you know, people have asked us, they reached out like, man, how can we support you? You know, they throw guests our way. They emailing us like, you should talk to so-and-so. Honestly, the biggest way to support us is to follow us on social media and subscribe to YouTube. That's the biggest way to support us, man. Share the content, comment, participate in the giveaways. Like, I can't stress that enough because we put a lot of time and effort into this, man, trying to give the city this content,
for
you know?
For sure, man, for sure. People say that all the time, man. Like, we hear it, and thank you all who watch.
For sure.
Thank you all who comment, man. Thank you all who share, you know, and we just ask just a little bit more. You see a conversation you like, hey, man, it's just 2 clicks of a button. Hit that share. Say something about it, man, because you know what? We do this all for you. Yep. Right, we do it for us as well. I mean, I love everybody we talk to. You know,
for sure.
I love it, man. I love them conversations.
Well, and how many times, bro? Like, you know, I just had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they was like, man, that conversation you guys had with so and so was so powerful, man, and this and that. And I'm like, bro, share it, man, because let's face it, man. Sometimes people just need to hear this. They need to hear it. So with that, man, I just want to say we're trying to get 500 YouTube subscribers.
Pretty close.
We're pretty close. We're pushing 400 right now, pretty strong. And that's says a lot, man, for just 2 dudes, including Nick, 3 dudes. It just kind of jump-started something, right? We just dipped into it.
Wanted to talk, shoot some shit with people and get to know Kansas City and give everybody out there outside of Kansas City what we're about here, you know?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, Enterrupt KC, go to YouTube, subscribe, check us out. You enjoy it.
Yeah, man.
With that, man, I think we need to interrupt our guest.
Man, look.
I cannot wait.
Man, I'm just mesmerized with this background we got here, man, with this young man here, man.
I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. And by interrupt, D-Rod, we mean introduce our guest, the one, the only, Dink. Yo, what's up, Dink?
Man?
Yo, what up, my guys? How's it going?
Good,
man, it's
bro.
going good.
How you doing, man?
Amazing, bro. Had a long, busy day in the shop, and now I'm able to kick back with you guys. So, you know, thank you for having me, man.
Oh, man, thank you.
Hey, world. Do you want a chance to participate in the giveaway for Dink's episode? The items here in this photo can be yours if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Check out the instructions to participate in the giveaways for this episode, and they could be yours. Good luck to all who participate. Enjoy the episode. Man, yeah, for real, bro. Thank you. I'm just like blown away. I'm looking in front of you, Dink. I'm looking at the table. I'm looking behind you, bro. Like, I cannot wait to get into this conversation
so
about you,
much,
bro.
Man, so much,
like,
bro.
Culture is all over everything you do, bro. So many things, like so many cultures, I would say. So, man, with that ding, bro, part of what we do, man, Enterrupt KC, man, we try to get to know the artist just as much as the art and everything like that, bro. So tell Kansas City, man, like, where are you from, man?
Man, born and raised here in Kansas City. I'm originally from the Dot, Strawberry Hill, KCK.
Let's go.
All right.
Man, I actually moved there, I would say that specific area in 93, so I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And we have a family house there, so that's where I grew up, went to school around there, and we still have that family house. And now I'm lucky enough to be able to move back and take over the family house and raise my little girl there, man. So, so it's a full circle type deal, and it's amazing feeling for sure.
So Strawberry Hill, man, like, man, of course, Kansas Cityans know Strawberry Hill, but that's Wyandotte County. That's like toward downtown, right? KCK, right?
Yep. A couple blocks away. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Man, that whole area is just...
Man, it's booming, right?
Man.
They done grew up a little bit, man.
Oh, yeah. If I remember just back in the day, like just riding our bikes, playing soccer, like just kicking it with the homies and everything, but... Now moving back, I was gone for 7 years, but now moving back and seeing the growth, like the progression, like the other small businesses that are popping up, especially right there on 6th Street, man. It's great to see, and everybody's so humble and welcoming and help each other out. Yeah. And we're doing a lot of big things, man, especially with the art world.
Yeah, man, for real,
that's
man.
No doubt, man.
Tell me, man, where'd you go to school? You went to Harmon?
No.
Actually, oh man. Okay. I was aiming for the stars.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. No. So I went to a few different schools growing up, elementary wise, and then for middle school I went to St. John's Holy Family. So it was a little Catholic school right there in the neighborhood. So I would just walk my ass to work.
Yeah.
And then after that, we actually moved, bought another house, and I went to Shawnee Mission East.
Oh,
so out in Prairie Village. So we went out there because they had a great soccer program and they had a really great art program too. So those were the two kind of passions I had growing up, and just happened to find a really good school that had both. And you know, we got another house out there and was able to move. And
that had to be somewhat of a little culture shock to you, bro. I mean, heart of KCK to Prairie Village, Shawnee Mission East.
Yeah, a little different.
A lot of different, for sure, man. But I definitely enjoyed my time, had to adapt, be flexible, and just kind of roll with the punches, man. And overall, you know, I went for soccer and art, and that's what I ended up going for, man.
Yeah, for real, man. So you was always an artist, bro? Like, when did that pick up at a young age?
I swear I was born with a fucking marker, dude.
No
like,
shit.
It was just like ever since I was little, man. My parents always pushed the art. They saw I was super interested in drawing. I was always just had like my notebook and just everything, dude, all the time. And I hear multiple artists just kind of grow up with that sort of mentality, you know. But I was very fortunate that my parents saw that early on and they pushed it. So they would send me for art school. During the summer programs and stuff, they would send me to places that were heavy into art, so I would try out all sorts of different mediums and everything, and it was something that I just carried throughout my entire life that I really enjoyed and kind of really fell in love with, for sure.
Right. Is there any other artists in your family, like your parents or anybody do anything?
I wouldn't say artists directly like what I do, but my dad is a master builder, man. He's like a Mexican MacGyver, bro.
That's art in its own self, bro.
Yeah, he's amazing with the building. He's super creative. He's built amazing things. He built one of the fountains here in Kansas City, actually. Like,
is that right?
Yeah. So I remember hearing that story growing up. So he's just amazing. My other brother, Vincent, he grew up doing a lot of music, so he would do his own independent albums and just tour, open up for a lot of really big people, and do that sort of stuff. And then my other brother, Robert, actually has his own party bus business. So he goes around and does that stuff, promo, all that stuff. I do all the work for him. My sister, Melissa, has always been a creative. She's always pushed me to think outside of the box, man. She would always give me little projects and stuff, and I would be with her. And so everybody in their own way would just be some sort of like creative like outlet for me. And then my mom was the super organized business person. So I was like a melting pot of everything. Yeah.
All entrepreneurs, bro.
Oh yeah, man. It was
dope.
great. Yeah,
hey, that's what family is about, though, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Once you get involved, bro, and then your dad. I mean, what's your dad's name?
Vicente.
Right? So he's building, he's creating. Your brother's doing everything else. Your sister. I mean, it all, like you said, a big old mixing pot, bro.
Yeah, straight up.
That's great, man.
I loved it. I had a great environment growing up, and I was very fortunate, man. For
so
sure.
there's 4 of you or 3?
I'm 4. Yeah, I'm the youngest.
Yeah, 4. You okay? You're the youngest. Oh man. All right. So did you get all the attention growing up, bro?
Oh yeah, bro. I was the oops baby for sure. So I was.
Was it like 7 years later?
Dude, it was like
or
8 years for my next brother. So I was definitely the youngest.
You was the
in
tequila
everybody.
baby, bro?
Yeah, bro. Straight up, man. That's why I say hecho in Mexico, bro. I was made over there, but born over here.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, man. So, man, I mean, what do you remember growing up, bro? Like you said, you were born with a marker in your hand, man. And so, like, you remember dabbling, and somebody was like, "Man, your mom." Somebody's like, "You got talent, man." Like, talk about that, bro.
I mean, like, I would just always draw. Like, I would always just have a pen and paper and just always be drawing whatever. So I always started drawing kind of like my favorite cartoons, man. So I would just sit there in front of the TV and just start sketching stuff out.
Who were you
like,
watching? What cartoon?
I mean, obviously, like Mickey, like looking at that stuff, Dragon Ball Z. I was like all the Nickelodeon, all the Cartoon Network stuff, the OG stuff.
Yeah.
But I was always very drawn to just the old school black and white stuff, like Steamboat Willie, Felix the Cat, Spy vs. Spy, and like that sort of like original sort of cartoons in the black and white and exaggerated like sort of feel to them. Like I really enjoyed that, so I would always try to mimic that sort of line work, the simplicity, but they would be so exaggerated all the time, you know. So that was definitely like early influence, I would say, was that growing up, just mimicking what I would see and all that stuff. So I was very heavy into character stuff, you know,
for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, what did you feel like you took from that, man? I mean, you're doing faces, you're doing bodies, you know what I mean? Because I'm looking behind you, I know everybody won't be able to see what we're seeing. Right. But anybody familiar with your work, bro? I mean, look right in front of you, man. I mean, honestly, some of your stuff looks like a Minnie or a Mickey, right?
Right.
That's your own take on that.
Exactly.
You know, it's phenomenal. I love that.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. And I always kind of wanted to pay tribute to that. So I say like the 3 main things that make up my brand and artwork itself once I started to get heavy into it was the old school cartoons, and then I got into like graffiti street art stuff. So the bold grittiness, the explosive colors, man, that was always like super part of it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to create something that was super unforgiving, you know, so that's why I use spray paint, I use paint markers. I got heavy into that culture with my cousins and friends that were in crews. And then the last thing, I was like, I love these sort of cartoony styles and this boldness of the graffiti, but what's my story? What am I trying to say with it? Like, where's my character? Like, what does that look like? And so I looked into my culture. So looking at Mexicano, Dia de Muertos, bro, that's what I was raised on. Like, my parents were heavy into that. So I decided to put those 3 in a mixing bowl and then just create a cartoony, playful sugar skull that was kind of like a secondary, like it was my identity in a sense, you know, it was my little character.
Yeah. Did you name it?
He's Dink as well.
Dink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot, and I ask people this too that we've talked to, do you have any of those first drawings that you created?
Oh yeah. I have a whole archive at home, man, of a bunch of stuff. My mom kept a lot of my early stuff, and then I kept all of my high school sketchbooks, all of my art school sketchbooks, all my current ones, and I date them, and they're all just in archives right now.
Stats.
Yeah. So I'm recently I started doing this video program with one of my homies. He's just recording a lot of cool stuff, and we're just kind of going through the archives. And I went through some of my old high school stuff, bro, and I saw what I think is like the first version of my Dink, a skull character.
Oh, for real?
From high school.
Wow.
And how it has have evolved from now to 2024.
Is it this right here on
So this is the updated new 2024 version of it, but you see like early hints of like what this is now in that early sketch, bro, and that just kind of blew my mind.
The transition, right? The transition of the early days, the early thoughts, the early creations to what it's became now.
Yeah, it was like a little idea, it was a little light bulb, and I was like, let me just sketch this out real quick. It was just there, and then that just, I see the progression as I go through the years. I'm like, damn, like that turned into this, it turned into that, and it just grew, and now it's this, and I'm like, damn.
Because you was probably just grabbing all these influences, and you didn't even know it, right?
Right.
Just as time went on, you're just like, oh, let me add this, let me add that,
exactly.
right?
Just trying stuff out.
So just your style, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of describing it a little bit, right? A little bit more. I mean, to me, it seems a little bit more blocky, right? But you got these zigzags, you got all this other stuff flowing in it, bro.
Graffiti,
you know, like
culture.
Is that, how would you describe that? Is there a way?
Yeah, I mean, I always say that my style or my artwork itself is a playful reminder of death. And that's some people can take it a little weird, but once you understand that, like, my brand is made up of 3 major things, being the old school cartoon style, and then I got into street art, graffiti stuff, like with my cousins and friends that were in crews and stuff. So I got to learn the bold grittiness of it, you know, and black books and using spray paint and paint markers. But then also I was like, I love all this stuff, but like, what story am I trying to tell?
Yeah.
I had to dig a little deeper for that one, and I obviously just gravitated towards my actual culture, man.
Yeah,
Especially Dia de Muertos. Like, my parents were heavy into that growing up. We would always make our ofrenda, talk about our family, celebrate it, and just all that just kind of made sense. And I was always drawn to little sugar skulls.
Right.
You know? And so I kind of threw all those three things in a pot, and out came the little Dink character.
Yeah,
himself.
the little Dink character.
Yeah.
What part of Mexico is your family from, bro?
So my mom originally is from Guadalajara, but at a young age, she moved to Mexico City.
Okay.
So then her and her 9 siblings and my abuelita raised all of them in Mexico City.
Wow.
So she raised all of them. And then my dad is from a little pueblo outside of Mexico City called San Vicente Chicoloapan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 45 minutes out.
Okay.
But my dad would go to the city a lot and all that. And that's how they kind of met. And then from there, they got married. They had my first 2 siblings, and then they moved over here. It was never really the plan. My dad just ended up finding some work. He's like I said, a master builder, so he was able to come down here and work on some really cool projects.
Yeah.
And, they moved down here, and they've been down here for like 42, 43 years now.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
And I was born here, and my other brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So did you develop Dink before you graduated high school, or were you just starting to develop him, or?
Did you have a different name back then?
Yeah, so kind of going back into like the graffiti area. That started when I was in like 4th, 5th grade. I would say that.
Oh wow, you young.
Nice, man.
Yeah, because I was always around it. Like my brothers always had like lowrider mags, graffiti mags, and then my homies that were in crews, like they taught me about all that shit. I was heavy, and they were all older than me. I was hanging out with the older crowd.
Yeah.
So they taught me about all that stuff, and I just started tagging. My very first name I think I got was Chaos. It was Kaoz. And I was like, that. I just like how those letters kind of flow and everything.
Yeah.
So I kind of started tagging that, and then, but my nickname was always Dink. My older brother used to call me Dink, just D-I-N-K, because back in the day, if you guys remember, or if you guys were ever looking at wrestling, like WWE, like OG stuff, there was this wrestling clown named Doink.
Doink, yeah.
And he came out one time, and he would come out with multiple versions of himself, and then they were like, you can't be doing that shit, that's cheating. So he's like, all right, I won't come out with any more Doinks. So he came out one time in a miniature like version of himself, and he named him Dink. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not cheating, like it's not me.
Yeah.
So it was like that. But that whole culture, bro, I was brought up on that because one of my tios in Mexico worked at Lucha Libre. So back over there, you see like the big character, like the human, and then you see them come out with a little like sort of mascot character, a miniature version of them. So that was huge out there, and I loved that. So my older brother called me Dink, and he was Doink. So it was just like a little nickname.
And it just stuck.
And it just stuck, bro. I was always just being called Dink, and I just started tagging it, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. But then I added the C at the end of it for KC, and I was like, oh, I got to rep my hometown, you know? And it just turned into this little tag, and that was what I started to just tag and kind of call my character and call myself, you know, when I was in that whole scene.
Yeah.
So that's where that kind of like evolved and started from.
Man, you was young, man. You was young.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 12, that's 11, 12 years old. Yeah, something like
so
that.
I was out there just tagging with the homies, just hitting up a bunch of random spots, like fucking up people's walls for no reason. But it was like the beginning of something that I never knew was gonna inspire or like turn into what it is now. You know, every little building block, every little step, I always say like is gonna influence everything. So that's why I say my brand actually started in 1990 when I was born, because since that day it has influenced everything else. You know?
For sure, bro.
I would love to see some of that early on,
man.
Bro.
I still have. I should have brought some of it. So
that'd have been sick.
Did you ever like growing up? You know, before you graduated high school, I would say, did you ever take art classes or anything like that? Like official art classes? Yeah,
I was always in art classes, especially in high school. Like I was heavily involved in art classes, man. I was taking any extra credit that I could do. I would stay after school and I would just take them. And my teachers were very involved with that. They're actually the ones who pushed me to apply to Kansas City Art Institute.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea or anything what I was going to do after high school. And again, I was super into soccer and all that stuff. I played varsity at East and I loved it. But then I just reached a point in my life when I was like, dude, I just hate running. So I'm going to like stop doing this. And then the art scene just started to kind of open up a bit more. My teachers pushed me. I submitted a portfolio and I literally said, like, if I get into art school, like that's the path I'm going to take.
Right.
Yeah. And almost every major decision I've made in my life, I've just flipped a coin and I followed that and it's worked out. Like it's like destiny, it's like fate, it's like made to be, you know? Like it just kind of happens how it needs to happen.
So with when you're at this younger age, bro, and you're creating your brand and you're creating your character, right? The transition that you had from then to now, how different is that?
I say in high school, I was still probably drawing just like a little more illustrative stuff. Just like I was developing a style with like it being bold and gritty and like paint markers and spray paint. Like that was always kind of there.
Yeah.
But the Dink character himself didn't really come to fruition until I was in art school in college. Like I would say 2012.
Okay.
I went and I graduated in 2013. So it was like my junior year.
Okay.
And that kind of just started to like evolve and take on because we had a project where we had to brand ourselves. So we had to create a logo, business cards, website, like all that stuff. And it was just to help us practice, like once we got into the real world.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I going to wait until I'm in the real world? Like we are in the real world. Like I'm going to start using some of this stuff. And so I created everything and I legit like pushed it out. So I went to different galleries, different people I liked their work. And I just started passing out business cards and flyers and links to my website and like little stickers and merch and all this kind of stuff. And I started to slowly get clients. I started to slowly get some attention. And I was like, this is actually working. Let me just keep pushing this. And so that's when the brand started to kind of take off, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And that character is what you got on your shirt there.
Yeah.
What we got right here.
Yeah. So that's the logo. That's the character. And he's the little like sugar skull head character. That's just, I always say this. He's like inspired by sugar skulls because he's a mold, you know, and the way sugar skulls are made, they're made in molds. They harden overnight. You take them out. They're all look the same. And then you decorate them. Yeah. So this itself is the mold, is the sugar skull. And then I decorate him into all these different characters that you see. So he evolves and becomes like a different version of himself.
And everyone. Yeah.
So is there anything in there that you would say is a unique feature for a reason?
Yeah, I mean, every single little thing, bro, like the eyes themselves, like you can kind of see them here, but it's like this is one eye and then the little X. So it makes a little exclamation point because death, no matter what, is always impactful.
Yeah.
So that's a little detail right there. The little mustache is a little ode to obviously like being Mexicano, but it's a little story. Like when I was in middle school, fucking puberty, we all started growing little mustaches and shit. Being in Catholic school, having uniforms and all that stuff, they were like, y'all gotta shave.
Yeah, you gotta shave.
And my dad has always been long hair, beard, todo, like all full Mexican, you know. And we told him, and he's like, you ain't shaving nothing. Jesus had a beard. And he told him that, and they didn't make me shave. And so that's a little ode to that, just being like, stand up for yourself, be yourself, like always be you. And my dad always taught me that, you know.
I love
so that's
that,
a little
man.
ode to that, man. And then the little gold tooth has a little chip in it, man, because it's, you know, not everything that shimmers is gold. But when I was little, I chipped my tooth, but I've always wanted a little gold tooth. So that's just a little like, let me give him his gold tooth, you know, let me give him his little prize. But everything else just kind of like formed into itself and just started to blend itself into what it is now, just from the early ages, you know. And then it started to become and pick up meaning.
I'm so glad I asked you that question, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, I looked at the mustache and I was like, "There's a reason why this dude has a mustache on him." Now you said your pops was like, Jesus had a beard. I'd be like, pops, Jesus had a beard too. You know what I mean? Like, can we drink a little?
Yeah, right.
That's dope, man. So you went to the Art Institute, man.
Yep.
Okay, so you submitted your portfolio, man. So what did you study there? Did you study some specific art there?
Yeah. So the way that it works is you go into art school and freshman year is called Foundations. So you go there, man, and you know, you think you're the shit, you're the best artist in high school, you know, you go there and you get humbled real quickly because you go up against every single best artist that was from their high school.
Right.
So it's like a meeting of the minds and everybody's good at one certain thing or various certain things, you know.
Sure.
But the reason it's called Foundations is because they see what you're good at and then they pinpoint about what you're not good at and then they break you down and build you back up correctly. So it was super cool, man, because we even spent like, it's crazy to say this and think about this now, but we would sit in class and they made us like one of the first days just build a box. So they would give us cardboard. We would have to learn how to cut it correctly, how to shape it and everything and build it perfectly.
Right.
And once everybody built their box perfectly, then we would set them in the middle and it would be like still life drawings. We would all sit around and then draw these boxes and figure out perspective and how they all sit perfectly together. Once everyone got those perfectly together, we would then move on to a thing. So we were there for weeks just drawing boxes, like the most simple thing that you can think of, because some people's foundations were like so broken, but they were amazing at this stuff. So they kind of skip steps. And so they break you down, teach you the essentials and the fundamentals again, and then you move on sophomore year and pick your actual major.
Okay.
That's pretty deep, bro.
Right? It's crazy to think that like that's how it went. But like I loved my art school experience, man.
That's dope.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
What, like, did you get a degree from it? Or
Yeah.
what?
So after that, you pick your major, and I picked illustration. So
Okay.
I got very lucky, man, because illustration wasn't a major before I went to art school. It used to be back in the day, but then they cut it, and we got very lucky because my sophomore year they decided to bring it back. So it was a brand new program, no real idea of what that was gonna look like. But I knew I loved to draw, and illustration in and of itself is the fundamentals of drawing. So we got very lucky with having amazing professors that were working professionals out in the field. So they taught us so much great stuff. And we were the first class to kind of build that program from the ground up. And we didn't have a building at first. We were moving around from different buildings because we didn't know where to place us. We were small classes.
Right.
And as we continued, the years went on, more people started to sign up. And now it's the biggest department at KCAI because of the initial first years of the ground that we kind of set for everyone else. So it's super fun, man. I love going back. I still am very close with my professors.
Sure.
I go back and do presentations at KCAI. They come to the studio sometimes, and I'm able to just kind of share as a visiting artist now. You know, I remember sitting in those chairs and seeing these visiting artists and being like, that's dope. I want to do what they're doing and this and that. And now I'm able to go back and I am that visiting artist.
Have you reached out or have you collaborated with any of those artists that used to come in as visiting?
Yeah, I'm still in contact with some of them, and I've done a few different workshops and stuff. Some of them have come to my workshops that I saw. So like it's a very tight knit community. So I'm very lucky to like have their support, and man, I love and I'm super inspired by their work for sure.
That's dope, bro.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, so when you go to the Art Institute, man, like you said, they break you down and build you back up. I mean, thinking back on that experience, bro, like you already were developing your style, you know. I mean, you had already developed it to a point. What do you feel like the Art Institute experience gave to you for your style, bro?
I would say it showed me the different opportunities that I could take outside of there. Like once I graduated, they were very hands-on with like real world stuff. Like I even got, we would go to different locations to live paint, to like just draw on location, just to figure out what that was like. And I remember we went to Boulevard Brewing Company, and we just did a tour of everything. We were just drawing everything that was inside, and I got to meet the main art director who would create all the package design for them. So the iconic like Boulevard like logo, all the packaging, all that stuff,
all the labels and all that stuff.
All that stuff, man. So I got to meet him, and his process was so dope. He would just make everything by hand and then digitize it, and then it would become that. So I got to meet him, and our professors would always push like bring cards, give them leave behinds, give them a sticker, give them something to kind of remember you, you know.
Right.
So I was very adamant on that stuff. I thought it was super important. So I got to meet him, and I was like, hey man, by any chance do you guys offer like internships here? And he was like, actually we don't. I was like, oh good. I was like, here's my card, by the way, just whatever.
Yeah.
And later on, the other thing they pushed was like do follow-ups. So I sent him an email. I got his card, sent him an email. I was like, hey, so great to meet you, thank you for having us again. Just wondering, like, would you guys consider some sort of programming, or for me to just come in and just see how you guys work? I'm just interested in learning that, getting that experience, you know?
Right.
And they were like, I was like, here's my website, here's my work. They looked at it. 2 days later, he emails me. He's like, you know what? Let's see if we can make something. And they created an internship for me.
Holy shit.
So I got to be an intern during the summer of my junior year, I believe, going into my senior year.
Yeah.
So I was there all 3 months of the summer. It was like a full-time job. I got there, and they set me up in a cubicle. I was working on real like client projects with them, and I learned design. I learned digital work. It was all stuff that like I was learning in school, but I really got to practice it like real life.
Right.
And it was so crazy to me, like thinking back at that opportunity now. Like if I wouldn't have asked, none of that would have happened. And I wouldn't have learned design to the point of what I learned it now. Like that was my intro to design, because I was in illustration.
Right.
Design is a whole different animal. So that definitely pushed me to be like, I can ask for opportunities. And that just kind of changed my mentality to be like, don't be shy or like embarrassed to ask. The worst thing they can say is no. And then you move on to the next thing. Yeah. So I've taken that very seriously throughout my entire life, and I've been able to open doors for myself just by asking.
Just by asking.
Well, just even for them at KCAI to tell you to do those little things, man. I mean, that too, bro. Yeah. I mean, it helped. Was you able to help create something that they used at that time?
Some of the things for like clients and stuff, like they would create like little easy posters, little things, little tabletops for like clients and bars and stuff that sold Boulevard beer. I would create some of those things for them, and I was just learning, and I brought a different flavor to it as well.
Right.
So obviously some of those things, I was still a student. A lot of that stuff didn't go to print or didn't go into like their main production stuff. But you would see it at like a tabletop at some bars, and I would go there and I'd be like, "Hey, I designed that.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight." And me being a student, I'm like, "That's
Dink
cool."
on there
Right? Sometimes in the background, just write my name.
You working in,
yeah, straight up. But it was cool, man. It was really cool to see.
I was wondering, man. So you graduated and everything, and you had that experience, but you said like I moved back to Kansas City early on. You said that.
Yeah.
So you left at some point, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so talk about that, man. Where'd you go?
Yeah, man. So funny story is I graduated art school 2013, and I graduated and I already had a job. I went straight into working with this really dope company called Mad Toy Design, and they did everything that I wanted to do.
Okay.
They did illustration, design, packaging. They did toys, clothing, anything and everything that I wanted to tackle. They did it.
Wow.
Super dope artists. It was just the owner, another designer, and then myself as the new employee. So I was in there just working on a bunch of different projects with them, and I learned so much. And he really pushed me to kind of develop my brand and style and really go more towards the cartoony side of stuff, you know. So that definitely helped a lot. And I was like at an all-time high. I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
This is what it is, you know. Like I graduated, I put in the work, and I was up here.
Yeah.
And after like 5-6 months or so, unfortunately, they had to let me go because they lost the big client that they had that was on retainer. So I was, you know, last one in, kind of first one out. It had nothing to do with my performance, but
Right.
that kind of thing just kind of told me like I can get fired from any job that I take, no matter how great it is. They can just let me go at any point in time, and it's not even my fault. So that's when I decided I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna just be an entrepreneur and become this brand that I want to create and be a full-time artist all on my own. And I had the opportunity to go visit New York for a week, and I stayed for 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it, bro. I love it. It's I don't know if you guys have ever been, but it's one of those cities that just has a different heartbeat to
It's
it.
like it's
does.
his own planet,
Man,
bro.
It does,
It's
man.
insane, dude. And it's one of the birthplaces of graffiti. So just being surrounded by that, bro. The street art scenes, the mural festivals, all the galleries, and just walking around and seeing everything, I was just immediately drawn to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm young. I just busted my ass for 4 years doing school. Let me go see what that's like. So I went to New York for 3.5 years, and I really expanded my mural game. Started to work with galleries. I started my own crew, solo crew, full of creatives. Now we have 11 members, and they're all scattered throughout the states. And
What's the name of the crew, bro?
Solo crew?
Solo crew.
Shout out Solo,
Yeah,
man.
Shout out to
Shout out
all
Solo
those,
crew,
all
man.
my crewmates, man. They're all amazing.
They're every
creatives.
like
Yeah, we
spread
have
out?
New York, Connecticut, Philly, Chicago, Texas, here in KC, Denver, Mexico. We have some people there
Wow.
from France, like
No
all
shit.
over, man. They're all like creatives within their own way, but they all have their solo career. But we come together and collab all the time and just like kill it. So,
That's sick, bro. That's sick.
Yeah.
So let me retract a little
Yeah.
bit. So you decided to go to New York just for a week, just to go,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then in that week, you came back home and said, "No, I'm going back," or you just were like,
yeah, no, I came back home and I was like, all right, guys, I'm packing up. Like, I got to go. And like, some of my family was a little sad about it, obviously. But, like, I was like, I'm young. I got to go experience
That's a
it.
city of
I gotta
opportunity
leave. And
there,
I was,
too, man.
I was the only one of my siblings to kind of do that. My sister moved away from, like, a town, like, 2-3 hours away. But, like, I was like, I got to go. I got to go experience this and see what's up with everything. I got to go see how far I can push this thing, you know, and see if
And
it's
what
real.
year was that?
2014 is when I left.
2014.
And then I was out there for 3.5 years. And then around 2017, I went to Denver.
Oh, okay.
So I would visit Denver occasionally. So
That's
my
a big
homies were out
difference.
there. Yeah, but it was a little bit closer to home.
Yeah.
It seemed a little more familiar. But the art scene out there was booming because the cannabis scene had just exploded. So a lot of the homies out there were like, dude, you need to come visit, come check out. They had a huge art scene. They had a great art district, kind of like the Crossroads right here. So it seemed very familiar, and I seemed very in tune with it. So I went to go visit a few times, work some stuff out, and then I moved there again for 3.5 years as well. And that's when I really expanded on my mural game. I think in those 3.5 years, I painted like over 45 murals. Just like back to back. It was crazy. I did a bunch of live painting. I started working with galleries. I started curating shows, like me throwing like the ideas and the themes and getting my artists and like figuring that whole game out. I started my clothing brand. And everything just expanded, and I kind of blew up over there. It was like a whole thing.
In Denver.
Yeah. And the community out there was absolutely amazing, man. We were so tight-knit, and we just all worked together so well, and just threw dope events, man. So it definitely expanded and like helped grow my career like a ton.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the fact that it took D-Rod, it took this man, you know, that 4-5 months experience, you know, at that one gig, they let you go, and then you're like, man, I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm gonna do this by myself, you know.
Do my own thing, and then I mean, what greater place to go to than New York, right? And then go to Denver too. I mean, and that was all prior before, I think, right? Because here the Crossroads started booming. I'll say maybe 15.
Yeah.
So around that time that you left is when here kind of started elevating.
Yeah. Well, Kansas City as a whole, bro. I mean, 2014, the Royals, 2015, like the last 10 years, has it's just gone crazy.
Oh yeah.
So you said murals, man, but one of the things I was thinking about hearing you talk, Dink, was that, I mean, you talked about when you were young, just like I'm sure all of us, right? It's either a pen, a pencil, a marker. We're doing something, right? But then you're doing murals.
Yeah.
And so that's spray paint. I'm sure. I mean, you got a spray paint can in front of you. You know, I mean, you got paintbrush. You know, I mean, there's so many things now that you've worked with now, right? Talk about the evolution of those things, bro. Like, what was the challenging aspect of it? You know, how did you have to adapt to all that, bro?
Yeah, I think I definitely started out with like canvas work. You know, after from the drawings, I went to like canvases. I was like, that's the next sort of evolution, like of a painter, of an illustrator. You know? But like I said, I grew up with graffiti and street art. Like, so my tools have always been spray paint and paint markers and Sharpies. I always carry a Sharpie with me. Like, I have them right here. They're always in my back pocket. Like, I'm always ready for just whatever. So instead of trying, I tried a bunch of different mediums in art school and like all the art programs that I would go to during the summer. And I always gravitated back towards these three things. And it was like paint marker, Sharpie, and spray paint. It was always that. So instead of trying to fight that or like paint like other people with brushes and acrylic or oil paints or this and that, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do.
Right.
So I just went back into my roots, and I just started translating my drawings into canvas work and using those mediums, and that's what I use. All my canvases are all hand painted using those mediums.
Oh, okay.
That's all I do. I never really use brush work unless I'm trying to get like a specific texture or stuff like that. But everything else is always those three things.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't too unfamiliar with it, especially with like tagging and stuff, but I needed to then translate these very intricate drawings onto a wall and scale them up. So I had to kind of watch a bunch of other artists, and that helped me when I was in New York because there's large-scale work out there. So I could just see an artist, like I would walking by and see somebody painting, and I'd be like, oh, shit, let me go check them out. And just visually learning and just seeing how they work and seeing how I can apply little tips and tricks to my stuff. And I just started to apply that and just started, you know, making it better. So I started my mural game, I would say, heavily was in New York. I did some stuff here before I left, and it was okay. Like it was still like practice shit. You know?
Sure.
And I have a big practice wall at my house actually, and you can see the evolution of like when I started to like where I'm at now.
Okay.
So that definitely helped, but I was just always intrigued, and spray paint goes over any textured wall. So I learned about the spray cans, I learned about the different brands, the caps, the tips, the adapters, every single thing that I could, you know. And I just took my drawings and I just decided, I was like, I'm going to just sketch on this wall. I would always go study the wall, see how I could do stuff, and then I would just take a gray spray can and just start sketching directly. I would just freestyle. I call myself a freestyle like muralist.
Yeah.
Because I very rarely plan them out. I go and I just study the wall and figure out what little imperfections it has and how I can play and adapt the design to that. And then I also just, I don't tell people this much, but I'm slightly colorblind.
Oh, okay.
So
you don't pick that up in any of your art, bro.
No, people are always, when I hear that, they're like, how are you an artist if you're colorblind? You only see black and white.
When did you realize
like,
you were colorblind, bro?
It actually happened in art school.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, there was this whole like popular thread going around with that dress that was like white and gold, or like
the blue and black.
That one. And my eyes, I can switch it. I can kind of see both.
Really?
So I could sometimes see this, I could sometimes see that. And
I do
it was a
remember that.
weird like phenomenon, but it's so funny because in art school for the second semester, they like I said, they like break you down, and then they pinpoint the things that you need to kind of work on.
Yeah.
And they put me in color theory class, and I didn't know why. I was like, whatever. So I was in there, and then I was drawing stuff, I was painting stuff, and they were like, oh, you have to do like a scale and all this stuff, and I did it, and they were like, why are you missing like some of these colors? I'm like, what do you mean? They're right there. But colors would blend for me when they were so tonally like close to themselves.
Yeah.
It would just blend, and so that's when I was like, maybe I should take a test, and I did, and I'm slightly colorblind, like tonally.
Okay.
When things are too close, like a light pink and a white, like that'll just, and like a yellow
It'll
or
just
like an
be white.
orange, like it's just like weird things like that blend that are so close together. They'll just do that. So I say that because I had to learn how to paint walls according to that, because sometimes I would have to go study the wall and see how the light would kind of hit it, because sometimes the sun will affect my vision, and so I would have to work in the shaded area, and then once this part is shaded over here, I would move over here to work on this area, so that my colors wouldn't blend when I'm painting.
Yeah.
So it's a whole kind of like background science that a lot of people don't understand that part
Right,
of it.
right.
But I had to teach myself how to do that. I wasn't just gonna be like, I'm never gonna paint murals because I'm colorblind. Like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna make myself do it. I'm gonna be flexible and adapt and figure it out, because this
Right.
is what I love to do. And so it just started to evolve and take. And I would just freestyle all these huge things and just go from small to large. And I would just teach myself how to like scale things up on my own without a grid, without any sort of process like that. It was just all freestyle.
It's dope, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, now just seeing the art now, I'm thinking whole differently about it
Yeah,
now, because
yeah.
I don't know, D-Rod. I'm like looking at that big ass piece right there behind him up top, and I'm like, bro, if you're colorblind, how you put that together? You know, like, I mean, and I know you said you're you know, just a small bit, but it's just a lot of color in that, bro.
You know what? And you know, hopefully Jay'll get a picture of that or work that in.
I will.
Man. But how do you know when you do something with that magnitude, bro? And I can only imagine even a bigger one, right?
Right.
But your style there is like a big collage,
Yeah.
right? It's a collage of characters and everything else. How do you know when you're done with that?
That's the age-old question of any artist, man. You can just keep going and going and going,
man.
and I can always find stuff on any of my pieces and be like, man, I can fix this, I can do this. Oh, let me try that. And as you evolve, like you try different things and methods and stuff. So I haven't touched that piece since I did it. I did that piece I was the featured artist for Matty Rhodes' The Other Muertos event, like 2-3 years ago or so.
That one right there.
Yeah, and that's the piece that I turned in, and it was a digital piece. I printed the background of it, and then I was able to do spray paint and paint markers on top of it, and really make it come to life. And ever since that show, I didn't touch it.
Yeah, man.
That's
But,
dope, bro.
Nope.
That's hella dope.
What's that? Oh,
Or they
it's a
just
little,
play.
little
Somebody
music.
else.
They just playing music out there looking at us. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
I mean, but so let's talk about your style a little bit more deeper, bro. Because you called it, if I remember correctly, Dink, you said it's a
playful
reminder of death.
Yeah.
That's right. I was thinking of the first word. Like, what is the first word again? A nice reminder of death?
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not right. A playful reminder of death.
Yeah.
So you don't. I couldn't imagine, bro. I'm not an artist like you. Like, you don't develop that style with that in mind. You're just developing it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you take probably a step back and you're like, okay, what is this? So people were telling you that, or you were thinking it, or what? Talk about that a little bit more, bro.
I was kind of asked a lot, like, what is your style? Like, what does it mean? What is the meaning? What is the motto? And like, that did make me kind of step back and really think of it, because I was just doing it. It was just natural. Just people always ask me, like, how did you develop it? And I'm like, well, those three things mixed together, but also just like it's natural. Like I couldn't really fight it. Like I said, like I would always go back to the Sharpies and the spray paint, because that's what I was raised on. That's how I learned how to paint and draw. So I always tell people, like, it just kind of happened. And once I stepped back and looked at it, I'm like, this is very Dia de Muertos. It is a reminder of death, but it's very cartoony. So I would say it's a playful reminder of death. It kind of like eases you a little bit more into it. But people are always like, well, why death? Like, why is that such a huge thing? And I always tell people, like, death has been following me my entire life. I always say I was an artist born into death. And I say that because my name, my real actual name is Laidan. So it's Laedan. And my parents made up that name when I was born. I was originally supposed to have a twin, but the other twin didn't form. It was just like the sac. So I was born, and my parents thought that was like a beautiful sort of like a miracle baby type deal.
Yeah.
And they wanted to pay homage to some family members that were passed before I was born to kind of just like a tribute.
Okay.
So they took my name and the first 2 letters of their names and combined them. So LA is for Lalo, ED is for Edith, and AN is for Antonio. So I say I'm an artist born into death.
Oh,
Like I was, my name is a tribute to them and their memory. And I've always kind of carried that story throughout my entire life and my childhood. And I was always like, that's super dope. And I was never scared of death. I was never scared of it. I was taught that it was like a way to remember. It was a way to just kind of live life. And I've just made that my motto to live life through death, but death in a way as a reminder to live, you know? And that is my entire brand, my motto daily, to just wake up and just understand that death is always behind us or in front of us or right next to us, no matter what.
No matter
and people
what,
are scared
bro.
of it, but I'm like, don't be scared of death. Like, be scared of not living.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. You
Well
should get up
said,
every
bro.
single day and love what you do. And I'm very lucky that I get to do that.
Man, hey, JL.
Love that, bro. You know what
JL,
that is, D-Ron.
You know what that is,
Man, that's a salute,
That's a
thing,
salute
bro.
to you,
Salute,
Dink, bro.
man. Salute,
Everything you
salute,
just
bro.
said, man. Oh, my God. That right there, man. I
Well
love it,
said, man.
That's well said, man.
I'm glad, you know, because
Right
here's the
on.
thing, man. Here's the thing, because
Bro, it's sick.
earlier when you were talking about your brother nicknaming you Dink,
Yeah.
from Doink to Dink,
yeah.
right? And then hearing the story of your actual name, Laidon, and how your parents came to that.
Yeah.
Initially, I was thinking, man, first of all, we know this as Latinos, right? Like, it's a very Latino name to give somebody a nickname.
Yeah.
Everybody has a nickname.
Oh, yeah, man.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Some got 3 or 4.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But wifey was asking me the other day, how many names do you go? I'm like,
Yeah.
man, a lot.
Yeah.
But point is, and then your parents, right, giving you your actual birth name like that, like.
And the meaning. With
Yeah,
that,
the
bro.
meaning is so deep, and that is Latino too. Yeah. It's 100% Latino, man, and I think that's what makes Latinos unique in that sense, because we all have nicknames, we all have certain names for real for reasons,
I mean, the orgullo, man, the pride that we have with all that, man, just with that alone, with how your parents named you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's pretty proud of.
How many? I mean, how many? So Dink, the character,
Yeah.
after you officially put them together, right? Like, okay, this is Dink, right? How many times would you say you've drawn him doing different things or in different versions of Dink?
Probably 2-3 times a week. I do different characters.
Really?
Yeah, just different things. Like, people come up to me like, oh, you should do a Dink character that's a boxer or a golfer or this or that. And maybe it doesn't fully pertain to my life specifically, but people want to see these characters come to life. And so
Maybe it's
I
for
want to
them,
give them,
right?
maybe they're passionate about it, or they own a boxing gym, or they're into golf, or they're into soccer. And I create these characters because I think it's important for me to continue pushing it. And I want to create this sort of like Dink universe of like characters, you know? Like, I was always super inspired by Mickey and their story and all that stuff. Like, he's such an iconic character, and you just see him and you immediately know. So I wanted to create something like that. When you see it, you're like, oh, that's Dink's character.
Yeah.
Like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's always kind of like the goal. And so that's why I pay heavy tribute to Mickey, and I make a little character, and his name is Dinky Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little tribute to him, you know.
man.
But I also pay tribute to like old school, like Mexicano characters. Like, I do a Chavo del Ocho, I do a Paletero, I do like little tributes to homie characters, you know. I have a little 8-baller guy, a little fucking Pachuco guy, you know. And it's all these things that influenced me growing up that I would always draw, and I'm like, let me draw them now in my style, and let's create this sort of like iconic character within my brand, you know. And so it just kind of
we need to see a Dink on an Enterrupt KC podcast,
Man,
you know, with the headphones.
Yeah, make it
fucking
Enterrupt
put the Enterrupt
KC,
KC,
Dink, man.
Dink.
Couple
Bro,
guys.
I'm
man.
telling you, it would be sick, bro.
That'd be dope. I swear to God, I want to see that.
It is though, man. You know, D-Rod, I was looking at this man's work, man, and you know, I've seen you so many times, bro, since I've officially met you. And I remember the first time, D-Rod, I met this dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have never seen art like this around the city.
It's your own style.
And I
bro.
couldn't wait to really, you know, first of all, walk up to him and be like, who are you?
Yeah.
Where are you from? You know? And when you said you was from Kansas City, I was like, where? Like, I've never seen you before. You know, I'm born and raised. You know, we're born and raised. Like, where are you from? You know? So I'm glad that we're having this conversation. But to the point that you said you know, I want people to know this is Dink.
Yeah.
This is a Dink character. Even your writing, the words, the lettering, it's kind of like Scribe, right?
Yeah.
Bro, we know we had this conversation with Scribe, D-Rock.
Yeah.
Bro, you see a character of Scribe, that's Scribe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't even got
a rhino.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know,
come
that's Scribe.
Yeah.
And I would even say now several artists, Psych. I mean, when I see Psych stuff, I'm like, oh, that's Psych. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it's getting familiar with you all as a person, and then your art. You know what I mean? But did you realize that when you were developing this style, bro, that you were like one of the only ones in the city developing this like culture Mexicano style?
Yeah. Not necessarily. That wasn't ever really like in my head or the goal to be like, oh, I'm going to be the first or the only or this and that. Like, it was never really the goal. It was more so like, I just want to create this and see what happens and see where it goes, you know?
And I want to be clear. Like, I want to be clear because I know some people could hear that and be like, man, he ain't the...
Yeah.
I'm talking about, you said earlier, kind of that cartoony Dia de los Muertos, you know, style,
yeah,
right?
those like three things together.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I grew up... I'm glad you brought up those names because I grew up seeing a bunch of artists. You know, I would obviously look at Juan Moya, looking at Jose Faust, looking at his old school murals down in KCK and stuff like that. But more so where I was at in Strawberry Hill, you can look out and you can see all of downtown kcmo.
Yeah.
And I would see all the taggings, all the graffiti, all the stuff like that. So I was super inspired by that. So I would always see Scribe's work when I was growing up. And I was super into like his character work. Like I was like, that's dope. Like I love his style. His character is very iconic, and like I always recognize it. And I was like, I want to do something like that too, because he came from the graffiti background. So that's where that kind of stemmed from. And then when I was in art school, actually Psych did a presentation, and then I started hanging out with him more, and I call him one of my early mentors actually, because he put me onto the sticker game, the merch. I know he talked about on your guys' episode doing like clothing, and I would go see him DJ sometimes. I was just around him, and like, we would go to this gallery called Cultured Chameleon back in the day. It was a graffiti street art gallery down in the Crossroads, and I would be there with them and just get to meet all these dope creatives and cats and just put in work in this gallery and just be part of the community and stuff like that. So I was always inspired by all these people that are like huge in KC. You know, I would always see them. I would always try to like, you know, give them the props, go and see how they did things. I would study everything that they were doing.
Right.
So character-wise, as far as like creating an iconic character and that being recognizable, I would say that definitely came from seeing Scribe's work. The merchandise and all that stuff from early, I would say that came from Psych. Like he taught me how to do all that kind of stuff, you know. And then everything else, I just picked up from different artists, and I was like, I can do all of this and create one consistent brand that develops into all these different platforms. And that's where it kind of like stemmed from and started to grow. And then the three things that separated me were those three melting things that I put together and then made me now this brand and this artist. And specifically just, I always say this, I'm like, there's tons of artists out there, but none of them are like me, because no one can do me better than I can.
That's right, bro.
I've written better than you and better than you and better than like no one.
Right.
Your style comes from within and comes from your story and comes from your background and your roots. And I always say you need to understand your past in order to presently create a future.
That's right.
Like it just needs to make sense. You shouldn't push it or try to do stuff that isn't naturally coming out of you. Then you're just going to be fake. Like this is 100% me all the time. And actually it's 110% me. And I say that because one of my teachers a long time ago told me, always give 110%, because 100% will get you recognized, but the 10% will make you unforgettable.
I love that, man.
And that's what my brand stems from, and I aim to make that happen.
Man, it seems like...
Go ahead, D-Ross. Sorry.
It seems like, man, you're doing that by far, man. Yeah. By far. And I wrote down a few things, man. I just want to give it a little shout out and for our audience who don't know, right?
Yeah.
So hella merch, bro. You got hella merch. We're looking at that over here, man. You got some shirts, you got hats, you got hoodies, you got custom shoes, right? So anybody wants some custom shoes, man, get on Dink's website. What's your website, by the way?
Just dink.com. You can find everything on there. All the links are on there. My online store is on there. You'll be able to contact everything, man.
Okay, you got we're talking about merch. All right, you got also figurines.
Yeah,
right?
so custom toys. I don't have some up here, but yeah, I do vinyl toys. I'm able to paint them, customize them, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and you've also had some of your artwork on some billboards.
Yeah, there's actually one specific billboard, and it says Cultura on it that travels around town. It was a cool project that I did, and it just moves around. They don't ever tell me where they put it, but until people take a photo.
Why'd they do the billboard, bro?
So that was a cool project that I did with this company called Spray KC.
Yeah.
They reached out to me and they were like, hey, I think it's Outfront, the billboard company.
Yeah.
They're like, Outfront wants to do a local project with like 10 local artists. They're like, they want you guys to design a billboard within your style, whatever you want it to be, and then we're gonna put up Spray KC and your handle and all that stuff. And basically, with the prompt of it was that they were gonna use those pieces to put up while there's like breaks in between, like actual like placement.
Yeah.
So like, let's say this company uses it for this month, and this one has it this month. This month is empty. Let's throw that up there.
Yeah.
So it was a way to like promote art throughout the city.
Right,
Showcase
right.
different artists and stuff like that. So,
Do you know where it's at now?
No,
I do.
it just kind of travels.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you exactly where it's at.
Where's that? Where's that?
Everybody go look at it. It's on 435. No, I'm sorry. I-29 North, Tiffany Springs. If you if you're going north, it's on the west side of the highway.
It's still, that one's still up there?
Yeah,
that one's
bro.
been one of the longest riding ones, I would say. I had one downtown for some time too, like right before they built the Ferris wheel. It was right there. And you could see it.
Right. Okay, so I said billboards, man.
Yeah.
We touched on that. You also had a piece in the Parade of Hearts.
Yeah. I was
right?
one of the first year artists to get one of the Parade of Hearts.
Year
It
one.
was tight. Yeah, it was a good project.
Year one,
Yeah.
man. That was sick.
Yeah.
That was
Where's
sick.
it at now?
They sold it. I don't know where it went. They don't really
No
tell the
way.
artists where they go.
They don't
which is
tell
kinda
them?
Weird. No, it's kind of like private
That's
buyer
crazy.
collection stuff.
Yeah.
So whoever has it, just hit me up, please. I want to see it.
Let them know where's it at. Where's Dink's art at?
We're gonna have to get a picture of it and put it on, man, so people can see it.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah,
mean, do you have that on your website?
Yeah,
as
everything
well?
on my website, under my gallery, you'll see all the big projects that I kind of have done.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of just throw it out there, and we could talk about it now. Or we
Yeah.
could wait for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. But you're also now doing tattoos.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Bro, come on, man.
Talk
come
about
on,
that.
man.
Talk
we
about that
we all
transition.
got
Yeah.
it, man.
Did you move back to KC just to become a tattoo artist, bro?
Some people say that, but no, it wasn't the goal. I actually moved back to KC at the end of 2020, at the end of the pandemic. And it was just always kind of like, I did my time in Denver, I did my time in New York, and it was always just in the back of my head to come home.
Yeah.
That was always the idea. I wanted to come home, just be with my family, man. They've always been there for me, and I definitely miss them. And I saw when I would visit KC that it was growing, it was evolving, it was becoming this little tiny mecca of things that had so much potential.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think this is a good time to come back and plant my roots again, get to know the city, and connect with the homies and all the people that I left when I was gone. So I came back, and I'm now coming up on my 4th year. Kind of in December, it'll be my 4th year being back. So this is the longest I've stayed somewhere, like in these last couple 8 to 7 months.
Well, don't leave, bro.
No,
Come on, man. Come on.
I don't have any
You already
plans.
planned it, bro. You
No,
planned
yeah,
it.
and I mean, my wife is here. I have my beautiful daughter and everything. So I'm definitely. I want to keep her and raise her with my family.
What's your wife's name, bro?
My wife's name is Stephanie. She goes by Tete, and then
Shout
my
out.
daughter's name is Sumaya.
Sumaya.
She's
Shout
2,
out,
man. She's the light of my life, bro.
That's awesome,
she's
bro.
That's
amazing.
beautiful.
Keep them in KC, everybody.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell everybody this too, who are newly parents, man. Just number 2, man, back to back.
Just have
Keep on
another
going,
one.
bro. Keep
Yeah,
on going,
no, we're
man.
hopefully next year we're gonna start trying for number 2. Hopefully,
bro.
hopefully it's a boy, and I say that because I want my wife to experience what I experienced with my daughter. She's such a daddy's girl, and like that love and connection that I have is something that I can't ever explain. So I want us to have a boy so that he can be super
That'll
close
be-
to her.
yeah,
Because I'm super close to my mom. Obviously with my dad too, but there's a different connection there,
Well, that whole saying about mama's boy and daddy's girl is fucking the truth, bro. It's truth.
Yeah. So I love it, man. I'm very blessed, very lucky to be in the position that I'm in.
Congratulations,
and,
man.
Family's everything, man.
Babies are a blessing, man.
You still have your shop over in Strawberry Hill?
So I did. I had that for a year and a half.
Okay.
And then I started to go back into the tattooing. I started my apprenticeship in July of this year. and that just sort of just happened, like out of the
I was gonna say it's probably a natural.
Yeah, I've always kind of, I will say I've always kind of been involved with the tattoo scene. Even before I left to New York, I was working in tattoo shops here. Like I was helping them design Flash for Friday the 13th. I would set up and break down stations. I would be in there just doing design stuff, just working, just being involved. I loved it. And I started getting tattooed when I was like 17. So I just started progressively getting involved with shops. And when I moved to New York, I was working out there at a shop as well, just doing the same kind of stuff.
Right.
And then even in Denver, I worked with a few different shops out there too. So it was always kind of in the background, but I was always preoccupied with my own brand, my own artwork, and I was always doing that. I never had the proper time to sit down and be like, I'm going to be a tattoo apprentice and learn this, and this is what I'm going to tackle next, you know, until I moved back here. And I opened up my studio, and I was doing everything out of that studio. Like every single thing that I offer, I did it out of there. And it was 2 blocks from my house. It was in KCK in Strawberry Hill. So I opened my doors to the community that raised me. And I absolutely love that, man. But once I started to take on my apprenticeship over here at Tiger Alley, it required a lot of time.
I was going to say,
you know, and I had to kind of like, obviously, like they give me projects to do and things that I need to accomplish. But outside of that, like, it was all self-education. Like I had to come in and put in that work, you know. Some apprentices, like it takes them a year or two and that kind of stuff because they have other jobs, they have family, they have this, whatever the case may be. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But when I take something on, I go full force into it, and I know that I need to like do A, B, and C in order to get to Z. And I'm very focused, very driven, and I don't stop until I reach that goal. And that goal was to get licensed. And I'm very, very fortunate to say that my mentor was so open to it. He knew my art background. I've known him for years now, and he was very very kind enough to take me on, to open his doors, to bring me in, to set me up a station. A lot of apprentices don't get a little station right out the gate, but I was like, I'm so serious. So I started to buy things and bring things in and like prepare myself as if I was gonna get licensed. You know, kind of like dress for the job you want type deal, you know?
Right.
I was prepping everything, and since July, I started doing a bunch of like different things. I started prepping, learning about the machines, learning about the sanitary. I started practicing on fake skins and started getting that. Once I was able to master those sort of fake skins, then I moved on to tattooing my leg. And my mentor was there watching the whole process to make sure that I was tattooing real skin correctly. And it also teaches me like the depth, the speed. Why isn't this working? Let's switch it up. Let's do that. And so it was a practice, and I have it on my leg. And it's one of the very, very first early Mickeys that came out. It was like a silent film, but it was one of the first ones that they added music to. Okay. And it's one where he like tries to learn. Yeah, he like tries to learn how to fly a plane so he can take Minnie on a date. And he's reading a book that says how to fly. So I redesigned that to be my Dinky Mouse character, and it says how to tattoo. And so that's on my leg.
Dope,
so that was kind of my like sort of graduation piece in order for me to start taking people. So then we submitted it to the state. I got my temporary apprentice license in September. I started tattooing people. And the process that a lot of people don't understand is that you then have to tattoo 50 procedures under supervision, get 300 to 400 hours in shop, like working and like studying, learning, and then take a few like CPR, like medical tests and all that stuff, and figure all that stuff out. So that can take a long time.
Oh yeah, man.
And I started in September, and I busted through that in 2 months. I did 60 tattoos, I did 400 hours, and I did all my testing, passed everything.
On it, man.
And I just went, dude. And so literally this past week, you can see it right there, I got my license, guys.
Yeah, you know what that is, D-Rod.
Dink, you know what that is, bro?
Dink? That's a salute,
That's a salute
bro.
to you, bro, man, straight up.
Yeah, man, super crazy.
You know, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was thinking while you were saying that, man. If I would have did that, guess you'd been my man. I've been having my wife, man. But come here, and 300 hours of you, man.
Give me that back. Yeah. You know, what I was thinking about was, you know, we talked to Juan Moya, right, and he talked about his experience trying to find somebody to be his mentor, really, you know, help him come into the tattoo game. And he told a pretty classic story. If you want to go see that, man, go check out his episode. It's pretty great. Yeah. I couldn't imagine yours was the same, bro. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, talk about that though, man. Like how long did it take you, you know, and all that? I
mean, I know the old school tattooers, it was a different era, you know, and like a lot of them were learning with like the OG machines. They were learning how to build their own machines or like make their own needles. Like everything was very different. Yeah, it was. And I got to see some of that era back when I was working in a few different shops and all that stuff. So I loved seeing that, and I have nothing but respect with that.
Yeah,
that's, I guess
absolutely.
where it comes from, you know. But I'm also very glad that I kind of got to learn during this era.
Yeah.
You're seeing new machines that you can just charge. You know, you can switch out the needle cartridges. You don't have to build your needles or the machine. And like, it's a little more, I don't know, fast paced, a little more easy, accessible.
It's more efficient,
like
maybe,
yeah, in a sense. But it's also, we talk about this with my mentor sometimes, that we feel like it's maybe a little too efficient, too accessible. You can just order machines off of Amazon now, you know, they'll get delivered to your house at night. And people are just kind of going at it. So a lot of people are kind of jumping this sort of apprentice sort of stage and just doing it on their own at home and doing all that stuff, and then just doing private studios, and people come to them because they think they can tattoo and they do it. And you know, no shade to any of that. Everybody learns their own types of way.
Sure.
But I kind of wanted to go more the traditional route, and that's why I said, like, in the past, I never had the time to sit down and be like, I'm gonna take on this apprenticeship and I'm gonna learn everything there is about tattooing and do it correctly and do it to reach that goal, you know. Until I came here and talking to my mentor. Again, I was very lucky. Shout out to Tyler Moody, if you guys know him. This is his second shop that he has. The other one is it's a Real Tattoo on 39th, on West 39th.
Okay.
You know, again, he took me in, and he was like, you already have the backing of a full artist. Like, the stuff that we have to teach these people outside of tattooing, he's like, you already have it. Like, getting clients, like developing your style, like understanding that, like, you have to promote yourself and marketing and like have a brand, have a following. Like, I already came with all that, and that helped me kind of like speed through this process in a way, because I already had that backing and that sort of influence. And I think that definitely helped me move forward in a way that was a lot quicker than other people. And again, everyone learns at their own pace. Everyone does their own types of things. And this is just the way that I've always done my stuff. Yeah. Every time I take anything on, I'm just like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it fully, and I'm going to do it all the way. And then once I have that mastered, then I want to move on to the next thing. You know, so this is my next thing, is the tattooing. This is the new sort of like tool that I'm carrying around as far as the Dink brand, and this is the new thing that I'm offering.
Man, have you practiced on yourself anymore?
No, ever since that one, I haven't. And I haven't because I don't have time. I'm booked, guys. Like, and that's such a blessing to say. Like, people really love getting work done by me. Like, because I have that following. You know, so many people that I tattoo are like, I've been waiting for you to tattoo.
Bro, your style's so unique, bro.
No
straight
doubt.
up, it's so unique, man.
And you know, we talked to Gear, man, right? We had OG. Gear on, man, and I think I even asked him one time. I'm like, in our conversation, I said, man, have you created some type of artwork that people had tattooed on them? And he's like, no, that's kind of weird. But seeing what you make and what you, because he's a writer, you know, so he doesn't do all characters, right? I mean, shout out Garrett, man. Like, you love that dude, man. He's great. But with your characters and how you can change them up to whatever people want, or however, I could see that going phenomenal, because they'd be like, man, I love that, but can you add like a surfer or something, you know? Oh man, that's sick, man. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. So I think the style itself has kind of like lended itself to tattooing in a way, you know. And outside of like just my characters and brand, like, I'm able to illustrate so many other things. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but I've illustrated and kind of designed a bunch of different brands here in like KC. I've done stuff for like different shops, different entrepreneurs. And it's stuff that has nothing to do with my style, but I can offer those services, because that's how I got through art school. Was like I was offering these services to clients, and like making logos, making clothing, making shirts.
Can you name some people would know?
I would say, like, in the West Side, one of my oldest clients, his name is Tanner's Customs and Collisions. He works on like dope cars. He's right there on the West Side. His wife's salon, Delphinium, I did like their logo a long time ago. He has like this sort of ice cream truck, but they're in the Iron District now, called Meltbox. I did all their branding. There's just a random stuff like that, and I have clients like that all throughout all the places that I've lived in and I've created. And it's just a different way that I like, a different source of income. I know how to design, I know how to illustrate, and I'm able to do that. So those years of doing that sort of stuff lends itself to like somebody come in and be like, hey, I want this custom, this and that. I got you. Like, I can illustrate pretty much anything. And now, especially with the digital world, like, you can manipulate, you can do this, you can add that, and it's so easy and convenient to do so. And so outside of my stuff, and I love tattooing my stuff on people, I've done so many different things and so many different styles within that. But I'm also just very conscious about like how I'm doing it so that it looks still kind of consistent throughout my work.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things that I probably won't touch, like hyper realism. Like that's never been my thing. I would definitely send you to someone who does that, you know? So there is like a niche market for certain things. I'm more illustrative, more exaggerated, cartoony, fine line, boldness. I'll add some color here and there. But come to me with like a portrait, that's not really my thing. And I can be honest with myself about that. Like I can practice portraiture, and I maybe will someday, but I wouldn't put that on someone like that because I'm not confident enough with it. You know, I'm still developing my whole stuff.
Yeah, and that's a great thing for you to even admit. Bro, because there's a you know,
I see some portraits
all
on
over,
people,
and I
bro.
seen some, and there's some artists out there, and I don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
But they will go and they'll do a portrait.
Right.
Just because you do tats don't mean you can do portraits, bro. Right. So I mean, big shout out for you to even saying that, recognizing that, right?
Yeah, man. You have to.
If anybody ever comes in and says, "Hey man, can I get no regrets?"
No regrets.
No regrets.
Just make sure you spell it right, bro.
No,
for
for
him, you know.
Man,
Oh my God, that's a classic scene. I love that scene. It's such a classic tattoo scene. I was gonna ask you, man. So you have a unique style, and you have a unique character. You have a unique name.
Mm-hmm.
You've had to have copyrighted some of this stuff, bro. Have you?
Yeah. It's a big thing, and like trademarking copyright was a huge thing back when we were in art school. They were teaching us everything, and it just kind of had to happen. Like as the brand grew and everything, like we just had to kind of like figure out what that meant, what that looks like, and everything. So yeah, especially now with like tattooing and stuff, like I wouldn't say I would copyright any of those tattoos, but like some of my iconic stuff, like tattoos are so mainstream in a sense where like you can take a picture of it and then go onto Pinterest and somebody likes that tattoo and then they'll just take it to their artist and they'll do it. You know, so we have to figure out what that sort of line looks like. Like if it's my logo, if it's my character, like that's copyright. Like can they? Like I don't know. It's something we gotta kind of try to figure out. You know. But
well, I mean, they could do that right now, bro.
Exactly.
I mean, they can go to your website and be like,
and take anything off of
"Yo,
there."
I like this."
A lot of people that have gotten my work tattooed on them prior to me tattooing, they have asked, which is nice. They come to me, they're like, "Hey, do you have this file just in black and white, this and that? I want to get it tattooed," and blah, blah. And some of them even throw me a little bit of money. They're like, just for your time, for your skill, for your, thank you for inspiring this piece. Like, and some of them are even like memorial pieces. I've designed tattoos for people before back in the day, but I kind of stepped away from it because I also feel like it's your artist's job, and like they're passionate about that. They should be able to draw what they tattoo. You know, because then that helps when you're tattooing. You already drew it once. You already know how it should be and all that stuff. So it's part of the process, and that's something my mentor definitely has pushed on me. Just draw every single thing, even with the new technology of like using digital stuff. Like you can just create, drag and drop, and like create a stencil. And but I'm like, I need to go the traditional route.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your tattooing just a little bit deeper, bro. Like let's talk about this location. So you're here Monday through Friday. So what are the hours here, bro?
It's kind of random. We're all kind of like appointment only.
Yeah, okay. You go by appointments.
So we just don't open Sundays. I believe our microblader does open Sundays, but again, she's just appointment only. But this whole shop, in and of itself, like I said, I moved my whole shop into here, and that was something that my mentor and I, agreed on, and we're like, let's push for something different. I was gonna get licensed in Missouri, so I couldn't even tattoo out of that shop if I wanted to in Kansas.
Right.
And then he's an artist all around too. He does canvas work, he does mural stuff, and he wants to get into the mural merch game and all that kind of stuff too that I do. But I kind of pitched him the idea. I was like, what if we combine forces, like with the tattoo shop, and I bring in my whole shop, and we do merch, we do gallery, we do custom shirts, we do awesome like custom merch pieces. Like my intern, he does amazing pieces as well. Shout out to Patrick over here, doing his thing.
I see you.
So we wanted to kind of create like a little collective group of like creatives and artists that just do everything. And so people walk in and they're like, "This is a dope shop. Like, what is it?" And we explain everything. And like 8 times out of 10, one of those services they're gonna want. You know, and it's continually like slowly happening. So
for sure, man.
We've rebranded here. We've redone the Instagram. We're gonna work on a website, new cards, new business model, new branding, and like start doing a whole new like grand opening for next year, so that we can start offering all these services. We're gonna be doing events. We're gonna be bringing out vendors, food trucks, have like art workshops in here, and always tattooing.
Right.
And art being like the centerpiece of everything, because it's involved in every single aspect of that. So
I love it, man.
It just kind of made sense, and I'm very fortunate again that my mentor was like on board with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And seeing the experience that I come with now, it's been 12 years since I started the brand, guys, like in 2012.
Wow.
And to now being able to offer tattooing. Like, I'll be over here working on a shirt. People walk in, they're like, oh, I just want this tattoo real quick. I'll step over here, tattoo them real quick. 1 hour later, I'm back to doing my shirts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was cool. And it was just kind of like a natural evolution of it, because I was at that shop, and then he would call me like, hey, there's a walk-in. I have to come over here. So it all just kind of like timing just hit. Everything flew together. It was very organic. Nothing was forced. And it just feels right. It feels like this is the new home. This is the new home of Dink Studios, Dink the brand, and we're just going to keep pushing for
Give us the address, bro, real quick.
Yeah, so it's called Tiger Alley X, and we're in Columbus Park. It's 913 East 5th Street, kcmo. And we're right in front of Wolfpack Barbecue and right across from Cafe.
I see you still kept the 913. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Got to, for sure. Yeah. I'm over there on 6th Street, so I'm over here on 5th Street now, so it's not too
Let's
different.
go.
But yeah, it's nice, man. I love this area. It's definitely up and coming. A lot more people coming out, a lot really cool neighbors and everything. And again, I love Strawberry Hill. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I was a little too off from like the main street. And it was still very neighborhood, so I didn't get that many walk-ins. And it was more so a private art studio, which is great, and I love that as well. But it was time to like grow and evolve with the new times and the new spaces. So I'm very happy.
I mean,
that we're
you
over
know,
here.
like just hearing you, man. I mean, you know, you said it earlier, right? Like there, you know, people who've been tattooed in this city for years, they had to develop their following from scratch, right?
Yeah.
You had this. You were already an artist. You had a following. You had people loving your style, loving the way that you work, and then you go into tattooing. So it's just like naturally just transitions. You know, your following just transitions to, well, you know, I want to get a tattoo of this. I've been wanting one anyway, right? But I think the other thing I'm hearing you say, man, and I don't know, D-Rob, you know, we could talk about this for a second, is you are what I would consider a 2024 artist in the sense that you have a social media following, right? And above and beyond that, you're talking about doing pop-ups, you're talking about doing events, you're talking about, I mean, community stuff, right? I mean, there's a lot of people, man, who've been tattooing for years. They don't do any of that because they don't have to, right?
Yeah. Just even what you said about how you're making your shirts, you're pressing over there. Somebody comes in like, all right, I'll tattoo you real quick, boom, and then go right back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's going on now. You know, and I know, back in the day, shit, nobody did that, bro.
Right. Yeah. No, it's very different. Like back then, it was just a tattoo shop. You'd walk in, you'd get whatever you wanted tattooed or whatever was on the wall. It was very, very methodical, very much so that culture. And you know, that's where it started. That's where it came from, and I love seeing that. But I think these are the times where we can start mixing and matching and blending things that are kind of compatible with themselves. And like I said, my mentor, he's also an artist all around. So like seeing the stuff that I did, he was like, I respect everything you do. Like I love that, and I want to learn what that is. So all three of us being in here are creatives, like we all kind of teach each other new things. We're all kind of like students of each other in a sense. And just being able to have everything in one shop, I think is super important, and being able to offer every single service of everything that we do all together as creators, I think is going to be super important to bring in more of that community, more of that clientele, and slowly grow this place to what it needs to be.
Man, do you think you're gonna do any more murals? Because it sounds like you ain't even trying to think about any of that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like since July when I started all this stuff, like I've been heavy over here. So I can definitely say I have fallen off on a few other things. Like my Dink page doesn't get as much attention.
It's
the
just
tattoo
next
page
level,
is blowing
man.
up. And you know, to each little piece, like I dedicate its time, and it just needs to grow. But you know, I'm always up for murals. People hit me up and they're like, hey, I have this new business here and there. Like, I'm going to go open up. Cool, let me go paint. And that's still always going to be a passion of mine. It's always going to be a new notch on that belt, you know, that I'm always going to be able to offer. Yo, I need these shirts by this date. Cool, I got you. Let me knock them out for you real quick. I need this merch, or I'm doing this pop-up, doing this live paint. Anything and everything that I offer, I'm going to consistently still offer. The one thing I will say, though, is I'm going to be more selective of the things that I do take on. For sure. If they have like a bigger purpose, a bigger community outreach type stuff, I want to get involved with that stuff. I think it's very important, and it feeds your soul. You know, you have to continue to do that sort of stuff. I'm not going to take on little tiny jobs here and there that are just like, oh, I just need this little thing. I have interns. I have other people that I can send those works to, and they'll take care of you. Like, I'm still helping and training like the new era of artists that are coming up as well. You know?
Right.
That's why my intern is here. He's doing amazing work, man. And shout out to him. He's always helping me out with new stuff, and I'm always trying to include him into the new shows that I'm in, into live painting, into all this stuff. And it's a way of like giving back to the community through his artwork, but also offering that to other people as well. So I'm still offering everything that I have been. I'm just going to be a little more selective. And now tattooing is taking up a lot of time. So I'm scheduling stuff out. And this kind of feels a little bit, for the first time in my life, more like a 9 to 5, because I have to schedule stuff out, come in, and then do the tattoo, and then take a lunch, and then come back and do another tattoo. And then the next day, I'm doing shirts all day. And the next day, maybe I have an event and all that. So I schedule out all my own stuff. And it's very like fun, because it's never the same week ever for myself. But I'm consistently making money with every single aspect of what I offer and do. But tattooing in here is just like, it's that new, like fun new thing that I got to learn, and I'm so excited about it, guys. Like, it's so dope.
It's like somebody handed you a marker you never had before, and you're like, I gotta try this.
And a canvas that's everlasting,
out,
bro.
Everlasting
canvas. JL, he been talking about getting a tattoo.
I have been, man.
He got a whole fresh virgin canvas on his whole body,
it's pretty
man.
big too.
Come on, man.
I'll get some dink on there before it's all said and done.
Let's get it,
even if they're laying me in my casket, bro, just be like, he said I could tat him real quick. You know?
Last one.
Hey, no, but one of the things. So real quick, how can people get a hold of you, bro? What's the best way to get a hold of you if they want to get a tattoo?
The best way, I would say, is,
and I wouldn't just say tattoo, just any work.
Yeah, anything. I would say just through my website, man. Just DINKC.com. You can go on there. You can see my bio. You can see my work. You can see my tattoo work. And then it has a contact page. You guys can contact me through there. But also the other easiest way is just through my Instagram.
Okay.
Just under DINK, DINKC. On my bio, you'll then see my tattoo page, my DINK Studios page, which encompasses all the services, and then my clothing brand, Vivir es Morir. And everything is just on there. So any one of those, just hit me up. I'm always available to chat. You guys have any projects, anything you want to talk about, I'm more than willing. And especially like students or people coming up in the art game. You guys have any questions about anything that I do, I'm always available, always happy to answer anything.
And if anybody wants, and if everybody wants any merch, man, if you got, I'm assuming you got prints as well, bro.
So I have a bunch of stuff here in shop. So if you guys want to come by any of the days that I'm here, I'll always post when I'm here. Or when I'm not here, like, you guys can always come in. There's a way to pay. You just pick up, grab whatever you want. There's a bunch of different merch in here. But then I also do made to order stuff online, which is like the clothing stuff. So you have certain sizes, certain things you like, colorways, whatever. Order through there. I'll make it. I'll ship it straight to you.
I think I'm gonna have to cop one of those Mickeys, man. Your take on that Mickey is killing me. It's dope, man.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for sharing the contact info.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you're tattooing, bro. I think you're full in on this, bro. I can't even picture you doing anything else right now, because I'm trying to go back in my mind, Dink, about how many times I've seen you pop up on your own.
Oh yeah.
Your own little pop ups with your merch. I mean, Monarca Art Space, Parade of Hearts, Sábados, the Royals game. I mean, bro, I've seen you like everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
It's insane. And so, I mean, I could imagine that's probably going to slow down just a little bit for you too.
Yeah, no, it definitely slows down for like cold season. Like, it's always kind of that thing. So I'm glad like we're in here. We get to offer all those services still. But that's one of the things I'm going to be a little more selective is the pop-ups that I do. And the merch that I create and things that I do. It's definitely like just got to weigh the pros and cons of everything, you know.
Well, it's all time, bro.
But it's always going to be there. It's always going to be part of the brand and everything. I'll always have merch in here. Like, it's never really going to stop. You know, it's just going to take a little bit of a back end.
I get that,
the
bro.
New thing. Yeah,
man. What I want to do, I wrote down some stuff, man. I wrote down some stuff, and I don't know if JL knows this, man, but I definitely want our audience to know about you, bro. All right, so a couple things that you've got recognized for. Okay. I got a list of them.
Oh yeah.
All right, so here we go, man. In New York City, bro, you got the Himador Art Battle Champ.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In New York.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Himador, the tequila? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay. And then also in New York, you got the Soy Yo magazine feature.
Yeah.
You was in a magazine there, bro.
Wow.
Right. In Denver, you was featured in the Denver Post.
Yeah.
All right. In Denver, right? Another Denver. You was in Univision Denver interview.
Yeah.
Right, bro? Okay, another Denver. You was what's that say? The
Better not
305
say he became a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
The 305 magazine, Hello Denver.
Yeah.
You had an article in there. They did a write-up on you.
Yeah.
Another Denver thing was a 305 artist to look out for in Denver, bro.
Yeah.
And you're from KC.
Yeah.
All right. Another Denver, you got the Voyager Online Magazine.
Yeah.
Okay. Then also you have the Secret Walls winner
Yeah.
in Denver. The last one in Denver was a 5250 magazine point.
Yeah. Just like a feature.
Yeah, feature on that.
They try to keep you in Denver, bro.
And then in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
you got you was on the Streets Department podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then here in Kansas City, you was in something, the Counter Pro magazine feature. Right, bro. That's from New York, Denver, Philadelphia, and Kansas City, man.
Yeah.
Sick,
Come
bro.
on, bro. Come on, man.
You've been
Those are great things that, man, being recognized and being featured in all those different articles and different interviews and podcasts, and I mean just the art champ.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, and I think, man, that's why that's why we started doing this thing.
Yeah.
Is because there's people who are here who are doing stuff. I mean, just you as an example.
Yeah.
You're doing stuff in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
As a Kansas City and a proud one, I would say. I mean, KC's in their
All
name,
day. Yeah.
So to me, it's like, dude, people don't even know, about these people, I mean, I didn't until I met you and saw you. I was like, whoa, what is this, you know? And so that's why we did this, right, D-Rod?
No doubt, man. No doubt, man.
Just trying to get to know you, bro, as an artist, and love the story, man. Love the whole, to me, it brings your art more to life.
Yeah.
Because it's so deep, man. I knew there was some deepness in there, but I didn't know how deep it was, bro.
Well, there it is right there,
A lot
man.
of people don't get to hear the back end stuff of artists, and I think that's super important. And again, thank you guys for having me, for creating this platform for people like myself and others. I've tuned into a few of them, and every time I learn something different about those people, and I think that's super important to tell those stories, the back end stuff, like that hustle, that grit, the things that people don't get to see behind the scenes of what these people's stories tell and how they got to be where they are. It's like that sort of image of the iceberg. It's like people only see the success, but they don't see everything below it. And that's what makes us
the failure, the hard
us.
work,
Exactly.
the lessons learned, all that, bro. I mean, and you said hustle, man, and I ain't gonna lie, man. When you was talking earlier, man, like you have that hustle in you, bro. I mean. And shout out to your parents, your family, bro, because I could tell. I mean, you said mom's was a businesswoman. She had kind of business mindset. I mean, they bred that into you, man. They bred that into you, man. And I look forward, D-Rod. I look forward to what Dink's going to be doing here, man. I mean, just as a tattoo artist now, but just as an artist altogether, man, for the city. I think you're on the cusp of doing some great stuff in the city. You already have, bro.
You have,
Thank you, man. Yeah, slowly but surely, there's a lot of big plans in the works, new things that we want to definitely create within this new shop and everything, new opportunities we want to offer to people, and it's just one day at a time, man.
Well, if we could ever help, bro, if you ever have a pop up or you need some, us to come down here and pop up with you guys, bro,
for sure.
Don't be afraid to reach out, man, because that's what we're about too. We're about community, and we're just trying to get out here and. Of course, build our audience, but also showcase people as well. That's how we do this. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and take. So,
like JL said, man, before we're related now, bro. We're in this together right here, brother. Right?
Yeah, we are, man. We are.
Absolutely.
So, man, with that, Dink, we're gonna transition a little bit, bro. We always try to ask some fun questions, man.
Yeah, man.
Here and there. So we'll get to the people, places, and things. But before that, man, so far. What would you say, like all your pieces you could think of? I mean, I'm talking about murals, drawings, graffiti, whatever. Now tattooing. What is the piece you spent the longest amount of time on?
The longest amount of time I would say was a piece I did. It was a mural that I spent 2 weeks on, and it was in Denver. And it was I got a grant from the city, and I forget what I think it was maybe like Urban Arts Fund or something like that out in Denver. And you had to, as an artist, go and find a wall from a business or whatever it was and pitch to them like, hey, I'm an artist. I'm applying for this fund to paint your wall for free. Would you guys let me take a picture of your wall? Would you guys be interested? And I found this really cool spot that my homegirl worked at. And it was this dope bar, like this OG, like Denver bar coming right off the highway. You just go and like see it. So I applied to that. I got it. And it was like, it wasn't that much. It was like 4K. It wasn't anything crazy, but I was like, this is going to be the biggest wall that I'm ever going to do in Denver. So when I pitched it to them, I originally just wanted to do, it was like a block, like a whole block. And it was like a big, long building like that. And then it had this side and this side. And I originally had pitched to just do the front, but then I was like, it would be tight if I just wrapped the whole thing. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So I bought a little extra material, lost a little bit more money on that stuff, but I was like, but it's gonna look so fucking good, you know? And so 2 weeks in November, cold as hell, in Denver, by myself.
Wow.
I took on this giant wall, man. And it's on my website. You guys can see it under my gallery. If you scroll down, there's like a long, skinny wall that just looks like this. And then I have pictures of the two sides. But I did this whole piece inspired by Denver. It has my character in it. It has stuff that do with the bar. Like I was in there playing pool with like all the OGs. I love playing pool. So I was in there with them, some like pizza stuff, some drinks. Some like custom lettering, and then my name, and just the overall style, some mountains, some like cacti, like a little bit of everything. It's just a big conglomerate of like different things. And let me see, I'm trying to see if I have it. I have two pieces over there, which I don't have, but they're framed. There's two framed pieces over there, and that's the side of the building and the other side of the building. The one that's missing is the long one, but you guys can probably show that on the screen later on.
I will.
But that took me 2 weeks by myself out there in the freezing cold, man, and I finished it, and it was one of my favorite pieces that I got to do, bro. And a year later, that building got bought out, and the new owners buffed it all black.
What?
Completely all black. And then I was painting close to there, like around the corner at this other spot. And the new owner, some like hippie weird dude, like just came up and he's like, "Oh, you're Dink. You're the one who painted over here." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm the new owner. What can I give you to paint it?" And I was like, "It was already painted, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, we have to buff it because whatever." And then they put some shitty artwork up there for random stuff. And he still had the balls to ask me if I could donate my time to go back and paint their entire building for free. And I was like,
hell no. That's double
all,
now, man.
Hell no.
So
Triple, quadruple.
I didn't even touch that wall, but that was definitely one of the longest pieces and one of my proudest pieces because it was the biggest mural that I've done. It was over there, but unfortunately now it's gone. So.
That's Denver for you, man. See, they ain't Kansas City, bro.
Hey, man, we might have some Denver followers.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout out to Denver.
Shout out Denver.
Shout out Denver. Okay, do you have a piece that's more sentimental value? Something that like touches you better, like in the heart, man?
Yeah, I would say you mentioned earlier the Himador art battle. I always kind of tell this little story, and I'll make it a little quick. But that battle, I wasn't supposed to be in it. So the way that happened was that I was working at the tattoo shop in New York at the time. I was doing front desk stuff and some designing and stuff. And one of my crewmates, Timo, he's the other founder of Solo Crew. He was supposed to be in this battle. And this was supposed to be like 7 artists sponsored by Himador. And they would bring him out for Dia de Muertos battle. And my homie Timo was going to go battle these 7 artists. They gave you a giant canvas. And you had 2 hours to create whatever you wanted. And then the crowd voted, social media voted, and then the judges voted for the winner. And you would get $1,000. So it was super dope. I was going to go regardless to go support my homie. And that morning, he calls me, and he's like, "Hey, bro," he sounds terrible. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'm fucking sick, dude." He's like, "I can't do the battle tonight. Do you want to take my spot?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm working." And he's like, "Come on, man, just fucking do it." I talked to the owners. I was like, "Yo, I got to dip out early. Can somebody cover it?" Like, yeah, you're all good. So I agreed to it. And Timo hit up the promoters, and they're like, "Hey, Dink is going to take my spot. He's my homie. He'll come through, whatever, so you guys don't have to find another artist." Cool, bet. And so I literally get off of work at 4. I get on the train. I go to the art store. I pick up 5 markers, just paint markers. I just pick them up, 5 different sizes. From there, I go home, I change, and I go straight. And it was like upper in fucking New York. And I take the train, and on my way there, I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, what am I going to paint?
Right.
Like, what is this going to be? And during that time, it was the era of me just doing black and white work. I was only mastering black and white work to master what my style was going to be and for me to study it and know it up and down in my head, just recognize it. So I get to the battle, meet the people running it, they bring me in. What I didn't know was that every artist there had like 2 weeks plus to promote and bring people out so that they can vote for them. I show up, my name isn't even on the flyer, on the billboard, nada.
Right.
They even had to, they wrote my name in because it wasn't printed or nada. So I get there and everybody's chatting up, everybody's like hype or whatever, and I'm just sitting there, dude. I'm just looking at this blank canvas and I'm just like thinking in my head, I'm like, what would be dope? And I come up with the idea of creating like my Dink character kind of like as a playing card, because it was like a long sort of vertical canvas.
Okay.
Creating my Dink character holding a bottle of Jimador with a sombrero, sarape, and then just illustrating that like a playing card type deal. The battle starts, man. There's 7 artists. The battle starts. They all go at it, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, oh, cool, envisioning, figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
I just take my marker, dude, and I throw on my I have a skull mask that I throw on when I do art battles. I just throw it on, and I just walk up, and I just freestyle. I just go. No sketch, no nothing.
Wow.
I just start painting. Boom. And I finished half of it, and I'm like, cool. It is what I said. It was the guy, the sombrero, the bottle, and I cut it in half. Like, I split the sarape right there, and I grab the canvas, and I just turn it, and I do the same exact thing, and it made it look like a playing card, like a reverse playing card. I was the last to start, and I was the first to finish. And then I get done, I just put my marker down, and I just go and I have a drink. And the crowd went fucking crazy for that.
Holy shit.
They were like, that's this dude just showed up. We don't know who the hell he is. He just freestyled this shit. No sketch, full marker, has a dope mask, and just kicked it. And then the battle ends, and then they like do all the voting, all that shit, whatever. And then they come up and they start announcing. They're like, all right, 3rd place over here. Ah, everybody's screaming. Like, 2nd place over here. And then they're about to see 1st place. And I knew it was between me and this other dude over here next to me. And I was like, oh, man, I think he's going to get it. Because he had it color. He had it spray. He had it all this shit. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I could see it. He was, like, performing. And then they, like, just start looking around. And they're like, all right, and we have a 1st place. And at that time, dude, I just remember closing my eyes. And I just think, because it was on Dia de Muertos. I was wearing my mask. I was in character. I was Dink. And this was the first art battle I've ever done. And I was like, if I win this, like, this is going to validate that, like, this is the path I should be on. This is what I need to do, and this is what I'm going to pursue and continue to do, is my brand, my artwork, my style, my story.
Right.
And, dude, they called my fucking name.
Wow.
And the crowd erupted, bro. And I just walked up, and they handed me one of those giant checks. And I was like, dude, I just made money off of this art battle, and it just told my story, and I just made something that, like, came from within. And I paid like homage to my ancestors. I thought about my name. I thought about my parents, my family, and like this whole journey of just starting here in KC and making my way out to one of the biggest art meccas in the world, and winning something that like is true to my heart. Yeah, bro, that just solidified everything, and I haven't stopped since.
Man,
I love that, man.
I don't even want to ask you another question, bro.
Come on, man.
That's so sick, bro.
Dope,
Thank
man.
you for sharing that, man. That is so sick,
man. If somebody had that video.
It's on my Instagram as far as like them announcing me and then like me walking up there. It's,
really?
It's on like the very, very beginning of my Instagram, sort of. It's like a black and white video, and you see me with my mask and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing like one of my first jackets that I ever made that says the brand Vivir es Morir. Yeah. And I'm wearing it, and I just go up there and you see the whole process, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like and I kind of reference that sometimes. I go back and check out some of my old stuff, and I just get lost in that moment. Yeah. And it still feels super fresh, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like right there. It's like it kind of felt. It's like winning a fucking Super Bowl, a championship.
Yeah.
Bro, but it was my own version of it.
Yeah,
dude.
for sure.
It, you know?
It is.
How many art battles have you done since?
I think I've done 4, and I've won 3 out of those 4.
Okay.
And the one that I lost was a team battle, so it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
But still, shout out to everybody, and man, those are always super fun. They're just.
You tell them ain't no I in team, man.
Yeah, but they're super fun, man. I love
That's
doing
dope.
them for sure.
I love that, man. Hell yeah.
You got to tell the story about the jersey, the Royals jersey,
man.
bro, because that was this year. The Royals were on fire, bro. This is Hispanic Heritage Month, right? You were out there, and you were promoting the shit out of this, man. And I thought it was so sick when I saw the promotion of it, and I was proud of you, bro, just because I was like, man, check out Dink, man. So talk about how this all came to be, bro.
Yeah. So it started with Fresco Marketing. They're homies. They do great work in the community. But they hit me up and they were like, "Hey, the Royals want to sponsor this little goodie box for you. Come pick it up, do a little social media post, and share it and all that stuff." And it was great. They gave me some really cool stuff. So I was able to share that. And then the Royals hit me up individually and they were like, "Hey, we want some Latino vendors over here. Like, would you like to be one of them?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" So I took my merch and I went to the game and was able to do that. But outside of that, another Royals section, I guess, of their company hit me up and they were like, "Hey, we would like for you to do like a custom jersey or something dope. Like, we know you have your clothing brand and you can customize stuff. So maybe you can give one to like a player or something." I was like, "That would be dope. I would love to do that. Do it at the game, present it to them." And I was like, "That would get me so much publicity." I'm like, I'm for sure down for that. So they sent me 2 jerseys. I was like, "Can I just get a jersey for myself? And then like I'll customize the other one and give it to them." They're like, yeah. So they sent me 2 of them, and I just started going at it, man. Like, I didn't really have a plan, but I wanted to make something that was full, like, Vivires Morir brand itself. And I produce everything in studio. I have my own vinyl cutter and my press. So I literally design everything digital. And then I started to kind of mock up a few things on the jersey. I took a picture of it and started to, like, place it, figure it out. And then I cut all the vinyl. I sit there and I have to, like, peel and weed every single part of it. And then once I have all the pieces, I literally laid it out. And I just started to place it and just figure out the composition. I didn't really have a fully thought out idea, but I was like, I'm gonna do this, this, and that. And it has multi-colors and multi-layers to it. And as I placed it, I then have to like tape it and then like press it and then create it. So I got to do everything and I sent it to them. And I was like, "Hey, here's the picture of it." And they like lost it. They were like, "That's badass. That's dope. Like, we're gonna try to find a player." But the game came up very quickly.
Yeah.
And I finished it kind of like the week of the game. So they didn't have enough time to like get a player to like come out to the field to do this. And so it was a whole thing. So unfortunately I wasn't able to give it to a player, but that day I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to rock this jersey to the game because I'm going to be there regardless. I'm going to rock it, but I also want other people to see it." Because they told me, they're like, "Let's make a social media post," but they didn't really give me a direction or anything like that. They're like, "We'll do it after the game." And I was thinking like, I'll take a cool picture at the stadium and then post that the next day. That morning I woke up and I was like, I want to promote the shit out of this, like, before the game. So I literally went to the Royals page. I screenshot their flyer they had for Hispanic Heritage Month, and then I redesigned it, and I put my Dink character. I put the jersey. I said, like, Dink will be at the game, brand new jersey, one off, come and check it out, you know? And I blasted it, and I collabed with the Royals, with Los Royals KC too, with my page, with the Dink page, Dink Studios page, and I just blasted it, bro, and it went viral. It blew up like crazy. Yeah. Everybody shared it. Everyone saw it that day, and everyone was like, "I want this jersey." And there was a bit of confusion because people thought that was the jersey they were going to give out for free that night because they gave out free ones. And everybody was saying to me, like, "Let me get that jersey. Let me get a large. Let me get an XL. Let me get." And then I was like, no, it's not like that. But I didn't tell anybody that it wasn't for sale. I just let it kind of happen.
Yeah.
And it blew up, bro. And the day of, I got there and I was wearing it, and everybody's like, "That's a dope jersey. I saw that shit online. I saw it taking pictures of me, videos, everything, dude." It just went viral like crazy.
It's dope.
And but the bad part was that I didn't get to give it to a player. But also I was like, now I get to keep this dope ass jersey. And then they did an interview. I was on the fucking like Jumbotron, like everything, bro. So it like blew up like crazy that day. And it all happened because I woke up that day and I decided to just make my own promo. Yeah. They didn't promote it or anything like that. But I woke up and I was like, I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to redesign it. So my design skills that came from Boulevard came into play. I'm going to illustrate and do all this stuff. That came from me. I'm going to fucking design this clothing brand. That also came from my brand. And make it. It's going to be Mexicano. Yeah. That's my culture. It's going to be gritty, unforgiving. That's graffiti. Like, it's going to be playful too. Like, that's fucking cartoons, you know? And everything just kind of went into that jersey. And it was like a really dope moment to like represent everything that kind of led up to that moment, but then also showcase it with like a local KC team. And we did so well, and like shout out to the Royals and like for supporting all that stuff. But it was just an opportunity that kind of just one thing led to another, and like I took it upon myself to really push it and make it become something else than what it was supposed to be. And that's how it became viral and like pushed out to everyone to see.
That's sick,
it was crazy. And now I get to keep the jersey. I have it framed. I showed it at Matty Rhodes for the Dia de Muertos show, and
I'm sure you could sell it, bro.
I'm waiting for the right buyer, man. We'll see if anybody's interested.
Would you sell it?
I would, man. But
is it what is it? A large XL? What is it?
I think it's an XL.
XL,
yeah. But that it has to be a pretty low penny, I will say. It's a one piece that I definitely don't want to get rid of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love it, bro. You know, I got to tell you, man, and so you know, I think D-Rod, you were out of town or something. I went to the game, and I told D-Rod, I said, man, you know, this podcast, bro, you just never know what you're gonna get. You don't know who's seen anything. You don't know anything, right? And I remember walking up to the gate, and they had these mariachis playing. There's the left field gate, left. You know, that's where I saw you out there. But before I get up to go into the game, I hear this dude. I'm like standing there, and I'm actually doing some video of the mariachis, and I hear somebody go, "Enterrupt KC," and I was like, I look back, and I'm like, and I automatically I thought I have to know this person, right? Yeah. Like they know me, literally, they know me, right? I didn't know this dude at all. He just was like, "Enterrupt KC," and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" You know, type of thing, and you know, said what's up to him. Walk into the game, saw you, you know, did the game, walked down to the seats or whatever, and now we're leaving, and I shit you not, Dink. Enterrupt KC, yo, what up, Enterrupt? I was like, what? Like it was that like surreal, honestly, because it was like people saying, and I shared this with D-Rock because, man, I was so proud of us. You know, at that time, I was just like, man, like people watch this, you know, they see it, you know, and they enjoy it. And they was telling me like, man, dude, I love what you guys are doing. I love it, man. And this is at the Royals game, you know what I'm saying? On Hispanic Heritage game day, you know. I mean, we're Mexicano too, right? So it just was a proud moment, you know what I mean? So salute, man. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. And man, I love, man, keep up the work you're doing, bro.
Thank you, for sure.
Let's switch, man. Enterrupt KC, people, places, and things, real quick. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. You said you're looking forward to this.
Yeah, man. I've been keeping up with the other episodes. I love everybody's answers, man.
Let's let D-Rod. You want to go first?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'm gonna do some places, man. Enterrupt KC. You know what it is, bro. People, places, things, man. We're doing a little verses, man. We'll give a couple, say which one you like the most, man. All right. So I'm gonna do a couple places, man. Which one you like the most? El Pollo Rey versus El Indio.
Ooh, man. I have to say El Pollo Rey.
Yeah, you're KCK, bro. You
sure.
can't.
I have to. That's stay loyal to my soil, man. Yeah, for sure.
They fire, bro. They got three things on the menu.
The wings, man. Them wings are fire too, man. They don't sleep on those wings.
Oh yeah, bro. All day.
All right. Let's do people. So let's do Eddie Griffin versus Jason Sudeikis.
I'd have to say Jason, man. I met him a long time ago. I
Oh,
think it
for
was
real?
in Denver. Yeah, just I saw him just like randomly, and I was like, that's fucking him. That's him right there.
Yeah.
But just being able to meet somebody of that caliber, man, and that always reps KC and like.
Did you tell him he was from KC?
Yeah, I did. So I had my KC hat. I think I was painting a mural. It was during a mural fest or something. He was around, but it was just so random and like out of the blue. But it was cool. He was rocking his fucking like Air Max Nikes he always rocks, and like just come by and say what's up, and then that was it. He just left, but. Just that personal, that I think we're also personable. Like everybody that I've met from KC out and about in the world, they love KC and they're just so kind, and they get hyped when they meet somebody else from KC because they get it. You know what I mean?
Well, you rocking the KC hat, that's automatic.
Anywhere and everywhere,
it's automatic,
I go, it
bro.
was there.
I will say, man, like how many people you know rock a New York hat and they ain't never been to New York, they ain't from New York, or nothing like that,
it's
right?
It's a tourist thing.
Like Kansas City people, we rock our stuff
because we're from here.
Yeah, I want to ask you that too. I mean, now that we kind of circle back around that, man, you lived in New York. You lived in Denver, right? Mm-hmm. Been down to Mexico, man. Done all your work in KC, man. What do you think is the most enjoyable thing? What do you enjoy the most about our city, bro? That you lived in all them other places.
I mean, each one of them gave me different things, obviously, but KC just made me,
it's
man.
Home, right?
It's home. It has a very special place in my heart. It always will. Without that, I genuinely think back to the time, like, what if my parents didn't leave Mexico?
Right.
I would have been born out there. I would have been a completely different person, different artist, different everything. You know what I mean? So KC definitely has that place in my heart that I feel like it raised me to be the artist that I am today. And then all the experiences that I held and got to see elsewhere, like definitely impacted all that stuff as well. But it's home, man. It feels so nice to be here. My family's here. It feels familiar. It has that sort of like level of like it can blow up to this amazing, beautiful thing, but we all have a part in that, you know. New York is already up there. Denver's already up there, you know, and like we're all kind of collaborating in this scene and just making it this beautiful little thing, this little hidden gem, you know. And I think that's super important. And the pride that we have as Kansas City people is just like unbeatable. Like it's just nowhere else for me. Like it's just not the same.
And I didn't mean to go off track here, man, but I was thinking about that because of that, man, and how you said about the hats. We represent, man, all the time, no where we're at, bro. All right, we'll go back. Let's go back to these verses, man. All right, man, I keep on going on food, bro, because
I love food.
All right, so let's go with Go Chicken Go versus the Peanut.
Go Chicken Go.
Go Chicken Go.
I love the Peanut, don't get me wrong. The wings are great, but like I'm very picky in a sense where like I don't like pulling apart my wings. I like them to just be already made. But I grew up with the Go Chicken Go 2 blocks from my house. And we would always go there. I still go there. It's still there.
It's the OG.
It's right there in KCK.
Man, I need a Go Chicken Go out north, man.
You gonna get one?
Yeah, they're
supposed to, man. They've been making that shit for 3 years, man. Okay.
That's funny. Let's do. Let's see. How about Oceans of Fun versus Worlds of Fun?
Oh man, it really just depends on the day and stuff. You know what you're trying to do.
Like not today.
Yeah, obviously. But
you still get on those roller coasters?
Oh hell
bro?
Yeah, dude! All day, I love them. Me and my wife go on, and we actually took our daughter to our in-laws so that we can go to Worlds of Fun.
Oh shit!
Wow!
Yeah, we went. We spent the whole day there, bro. So we both love roller coasters. And, but like I love water slides too, and I love that lazy river, dude. You just get to chill, the wave pool, so I do both, bro.
So it's
like
a push,
I'll go and I'll get on all the roller coasters, and I'll go and take it easy and chill on the fucking water slides and like kick.
I feel that.
That's why it's a 2-in-1 pass. Bro.
It is, bro. You got to. I went out there the other day. I had to drop my son off. Right, he's me and his little friend out there, and so I was telling my wife, I'm like, man, you remember when we bro? There's a little raggedy hotel out there.
Yep.
Bro, when Nick was younger, we got a hotel room and stayed like the whole weekend just to do Worlds of Fun and Oceans of Fun. I think
that's dope.
It was sick, bro. I would never do that again. You know, I was even thinking like, why did I do that? But hey, you know, you do things for your kids, right?
True that, man.
Yeah,
always.
Who's it? Is it me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay. Los Alamos versus El Camino Real.
El Camino Real.
Yeah,
it's right there next to me too.
Yeah,
right on 7th.
You grew up around all the spots.
What you get from there?
Some of the best al pastor, dude, because they still have the pit. They still have the pit, the rotator, todo. Yeah. Very traditional. It's nice and you can ask for a little bit more doraditos. Just get it nice and crispy, bro. That piña on top, A1.
Bro, have you been to Viva? The
Viva
restaurant,
Fashion?
Viva, Viva the restaurant.
I was like Viva Fashion.
I thought the same thing too. I was like, Viva
yes,
Fashion.
There's a restaurant, new restaurant.
Yeah.
I think.
Where is it?
I think Itra might have painted
really?
there.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think they did.
Oh shit.
Man,
what kind of?
It's Mexican food. It's over
cool.
there. So it's a restaurant on 135th.
Is it the one that they did the luchadores?
No,
that's in Gardner, bro.
That's in Gardner, yeah. Anyways, but they serve it, man. So shout out Viva, man. I went there a few weeks ago, and you get your own pastor, and they serve it on the whole spindle, individual.
Oh, really? Just for you,
bro? Yeah, you get your own individual. Oh, it's phenomenal. Man. We gotta go. Man.
Yeah, we should. I was just gonna say I went to El Camino Real last week.
Oh, tight.
But dude, you know why? Because I love their tacos, man. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're gorditas, bro.
Yeah, that was it.
That oh my god, bro. So I stayed right there, 5th, 7th, and Central pretty much for like 8 years.
Tight.
And so like, bro, all the spots, bro.
Yeah.
Go Chicken Go, El Camino Real. Yeah. All, Central, like it wasn't even what it is today back then, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful to see, bro.
Man, there ain't nothing about my house. There ain't nothing good, bro, man.
All right, let's see. Let's do the Crossroads versus Westport.
I'd have to go with the Crossroads, man, just because of the art district, man. I grew up just going down there, like just being part of the art community, the galleries. One of my very first gallery shows was in high school, and I got accepted because I painted this mural at my high school. They saw it, and then they had me be part of this dope-ass tribute show this graffiti artist got murdered in Chicago.
Wow.
So they brought in a lot of local artists to do tribute shows. So Scribe was in it, Gear was in it. I think Psych went to the show. I don't know if he was part of it, but they asked me as a high schooler to contribute a piece to kind of, and each artist that was in it was kind of like a different topic or era for that artist that passed. And we were supposed to represent kind of like his youth days. So like I was able to create a piece, and that was my very first gallery show in high school, and it was at the Lady Volka's gallery, like one of the biggest galleries and well-known galleries down there. And that just like projectiled me into like loving the art world and getting involved in it, man. So I've always had a very sweet spot for the Crossroads.
Okay.
Westport, I just always see it as like the party town and all that shit. When I was in KCI, I would always walk down there, just be part of the bar scene and all that shit. Like it was great, but man, I can't go back there no more. Like it ain't my shit. Like I'm not about that life no more. But Crossroads, I still stay going down there and doing shows,
doubt,
man.
I feel that.
No doubt. All right, Kansas City barbecue, man. Let's do a barbecue joint. Okay. Rosedale barbecue. I think I know the answer to this one. Versus Slaps barbecue.
Slaps all day, bro. It has
They're
to
both
be.
in Kansas.
I know, but it's just different, dude. It hits different. I mean, shout out to Rosedale all day. OG plays, I love it. Like we would always go there randomly when we were kids. They would take us. My parents were very good about taking us to all the different spots.
Right.
But now, after I left and came, man, I would just say this. Like when I left, like I couldn't find good barbecue. It was just something that just kept hitting me wrong every single time. It just wasn't it. Yeah. So every time I'd come back, bro, and Slaps being right by my house, like right there, dude, I would just walk my ass over there, bro. And I would just eat, man. Every single thing that I've had there, they never miss. And I love the spot. I love the place. They're always packed, so I always go during the week. I know when to go. But just all day, every day, Slaps is probably like top 3 for me up there.
Yeah. They expanded too. A couple years ago.
They did really well, bro. Just started.
Bro.
Immediately. Shout out Slaps.
Slaps is fire, bro. Slaps is fire. Yeah. All right, I-35 versus I-70.
I do I-35 more. I will say that, just back and forth.
Bro,
like
I-70. What is going on right here, bro?
But like, I can't even go downtown.
It's always messed up.
I can't even go that way. They had just fixed it coming down this way, and now they're shut it down going into downtown. So like, I can't even go. So I have to go again
all the way around. Yeah.
Like it ain't even like it's open and then it closes and then it's open and then it's like, what are they doing over here?
Sucks.
Man, it's a huge inconvenience. Get it together.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up. Got one more?
No, I'm gonna.
Yeah, do the thing you do.
I'm gonna do some food, man, because this is just this is us. We're talking about our people, our culture, man. Let's get down on some food, man. And tell me which ones you like best, bro. Tacos versus gorditas.
Tacos.
Okay, frijoles charros versus elotes.
Ooh, I'll say elotes.
Elotes. Churros versus flan.
Churros.
Caldo de res versus caldo de pollo.
Oh, I just had caldo de res the other day. It was fire.
Yeah.
I'll say pollo though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more classic for me.
Sopes versus flautas.
Oh shit. Flautas, man. I like that crunch.
Yeah.
That's my shit.
Sour cream, guacamole.
Everything.
Loaded. Hell yeah. Menudo versus pozole.
Pozole,
man.
I love menudo too, don't get me wrong, but pozole just hits a little different, and I can consistently eat that shit.
Yeah,
my guy.
No doubt. Hey, Dink, what's your favorite word in Spanish, bro?
I'd probably say orale.
Orale.
That's my shit.
I love that,
I
bro.
would shout out to FK Minutes every time I see him. I'm like, orale.
Orale.
It's like that OG fucking movie shit, Man, I love it, man. It's one
Shout
of my
out
favorites.
Minutes, man.
I'm trying to think, what movie is that? Orale. Selena. No, wait. Is that it?
It's hella Chicano movies, man.
Orale.
But Blood In, Blood Out
Blood
has
In,
it.
Blood Out,
Fucking
yeah.
Richie Valens has La Bamba. La Bamba being one of my favorite movies, man.
Bob,
They
man.
inspired everything.
Yeah.
That's what's on my wrist, like my fucking arms and shit. The quote that they say in there is, El vivir es dormir, el morir es despertar. And that's what inspired my clothing brand, to vivir es morir.
Yeah.
And that's one of my all-time favorite movies, man. His whole story, trajectory, everything that it has to do with him, like, I always felt like that, like, had to do with my life too, man.
Yeah. And that's that scene where he takes him to Mexico.
Yeah,
and he wakes up with the native, the shaman dude.
And he tells him everything. It's like life is like a snake. It's like a dream, like you crawling out of its own skin type deal. And then he tells him that quote, and I was like, that's it. And then I got this long. This is one of my like 3rd tattoos I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope, bro.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chicano Films, man. They
No
definitely
doubt,
made
man.
us.
Bro, hey, and I was even thinking about one like Born in East LA.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, bro.
All right, man. Before I ask you this last thing, Dink,
Yeah.
anything you want to share, say before we let you go here?
Man, I want to say thank you, man. Thank you guys for the time, for the opportunity. This has been a trip. I absolutely love talking to you guys, man. I hope that this, in one way or another, inspires anyone who listens to it to just pursue anything and everything that makes you happy.
Yeah.
You know, we got to live this life. We only have one. Might as well wake up and do something you absolutely love. And if you have the opportunity to do that, please do so. Share that gift. You know, it's for everyone else. It's for the world. And I'm very lucky and fortunate to be living a life that I can wake up and do exactly what I want to do every single day, man. Not everybody gets to do that for one reason or another, you know. So follow your dreams, man. Be consistent, be persistent. Don't give up. And again, that 110%, man. That 110%.
I love that saying, bro.
It's gonna get you noticed, but that 10% is gonna make you unforgettable, man. I just hope that I can one day or another, whenever my time comes, man, you guys will remember me for who I really am.
That's right, bro.
Well, look, man, and to touch on that, this is, you know, when we started this, bro, it's for, you know, like we said, to highlight people like that. And this right here, it's forever, bro.
Yeah.
Forever, bro.
It's forever. Your daughter is going to see it.
Yeah.
You know, sometime, bro.
She's going to say, you know, she's going to get to, you know, that age where she can understand more things.
Yeah.
And be like, check this out. This is me when I was young.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking to these guys. They're real old now. Hey, man, with that, Dink, man, tell us you're from KC without telling us you're from KC. KC.
There you go, Papa.
There it
go.
is.
This is one of my first tattoos I
KC
ever
tats.
designed, man. It's probably my 2nd one. So I did that a long time ago. Went to one of my homies, knocked it out.
Yeah.
It's forever repping, forever show it, man. Anywhere and everywhere I go.
Look, we got them all over, bro. We got them all over,
That's
man.
where it is, man. That's how it goes. So
I ain't got the tat, so I got the hat. You know what I mean?
hit me up. Let me know. I'll book you.
Yeah, he got you, man.
Let's go.
Man.
I love that, bro. I love that, man. Listen, Dink, man. Appreciate you, bro.
No
Keep
doubt, bro.
representing, man. Keep representing the city, the culture. Keep representing your style, bro. Like, it's so unique, man.
Thanks,
and
man.
I mean, listen, man. We knew it when we first saw you. Like, this is. We got to talk to this dude.
Everything
You know
about
what I mean?
it, bro, is phenomenal, man.
I can't wait to see what you guys are gonna do here, man. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do, man, for real. So keep up the work, bro.
Thanks, bro.
All
I
right.
appreciate that. No doubt.
With that, Enterrupt KC, JL,
D-Rod right here, man.
like, follow, share, subscribe, everybody. We are out of here. Peace.
Thank you.